A toxic 20-year-old game streamer accidentally reveals his nice personality because he forgot to end the stream. Volume 2 by Natsunomai. Translated by Vampira. Audiobook by Masquerade at Masquerade. Audiobooks. Prologue. An online streamer who enjoyed playing the popular game, Abex, caused an unexpected streaming incident. Exposed for acting toxic to gain attention. Exposed for working hard during streams to earn money for his sister's university funds. Exposed for working 6 days a week at a part-time job to make a living. Exposed for earnestly supporting his family. Some time has passed since this legendary incident. Welcome. Today, in celebration of surpassing 200,000 subscribers, I'll be setting up a custom match room just for this occasion. This is your one chance to play with me, the man with over 200,000 subscribers. Seriously, Nakayama Haruto, also known as Oni-chan, said this on his stream with 7,500 people watching. Comments: seriously, isn't he emphasizing the number too much? Lol. Comments: so far, he said it 7 times already. Comments: well, he looks genuinely happy, haha. Comments: lately, he's been annoyingly cute. Compared to before, the comments section has become gentler. Of course, hate comments like seriously annoying, creepy, and boring were still present. However, since he was used to seeing such comments, he could maintain his usual streaming style without feeling negatively affected by such opinions. Alright, the custom room is ready. The password is ananino.1. First come, first served. So hurry up. Comments: no hesitation on the password choice. Comments: I could imagine him thinking hard about it before the stream even started. Comments: seriously lacking in taste. Lol. Comments: well, let's not tease him too much, it's kinda pitiful. He coughed briefly after seeing a comment that hit a nerve. Look, there are barely any spots left. Due to the game's limitations, the custom room can only accommodate up to 60 players. Viewers are eagerly joining in to fill the slots for the 20 teams of 3. By the way, the reward for the winner of this custom match is a friend request from me. Be grateful. It was the moment he announced the reward for becoming the champion. Comments: don't need it. Comments: I suddenly don't feel like playing anymore. Comments: couldn't have been worse. Such comments lined up one after another. What do you mean you don't need it? You should be genuinely happy. You can be friends with a person who has 200,000 subscribers, you know? As expected, Oni-chan switch for rebuttals flips. A cash prize would be much better than a friend request? Are you stupid or something? I don't have that kind of money to throw around. Comments: gotta save money for Imto-chan, right? Haha. Comments: wait, are you using the money to buy her presents and stuff? Comments: forget about the prize money. Just help send Imto-chan to university. Comments: sibling love is so nice. I don't know what you're talking about. Shut up. Oni-chan couldn't help but wonder why he always got exposed like this. He quickly tried to change the subject away from his weakness. Let's see. Oh, right. Just so you know, the rules for this match are anything goes. You can even stream snipe me if you want. Even with such a handicap, you won't be able to beat me anyways. Comments: stop with the boasting already, Lmao. Comments: if you give away your location, you're definitely gonna lose. Comments: your landing spot is definitely going to be a hot spot. LOL. Comments: probably gonna instantly die. As he waits, the expected comments line up. The revelation of one's location can be truly fatal. Even pro streamers make sure to hide their maps when playing. Naturally, Oni-chan himself knows how dangerous it is to reveal his location. Nevertheless, there are circumstances that compel him to say such things. Well, you know, even if I say don't watch the stream while playing, those who won't listen anyway. Look at their username. Speaks for itself, doesn't it? He gestures while moving the mouse cursor to highlight the usernames. Kill the Oni-chan F0CK. Oni-oh. Those are undoubtedly the haters. But, will he be able to kill such players? Or will he be killed by them? Thanks to the tension created before the match, the momentum of the comments continues to rise as he observes the lively comment section. There are only 7 slots left in the custom room when suddenly, seriously? There was a hint of agitation in his voice. Oni-chan, visibly shaken, double-checks the player's username. An unexpected individual has entered the room. A name that he recognizes and someone who competes in the same rank. Comments, a pro gamer has entered the game lol. Comments, this is getting interesting. Comments, Ayaya-chan, a member of the professional gaming team Axis Crown, a female Vtuber with over 400,000 subscribers and someone who doesn't casually join in on events like this. Her username could clearly be seen, AC_Ayaya. Yeah, there's someone kinda dangerous here, but, well, if I take them down, I'm going to brag about it on Twitter. He can't afford to miss this opportunity to promote himself. However, when he glances at the comments, there's not a single one expressing support for him of any sort. Comments, NGL, the way you're putting pressure on her is kinda cowardly. Comments, I hope she just kicks your butt lol. Comments, good luck. Ayaya. Comments, I'm jealous of whoever's teamed up with Ayaya. The comments all reflect her popularity. You guys came here to watch my stream, so support me, okay? Huh? You feel like I'm stealing the spotlight? Just shut up and watch. As he continued the familiar banter, the room filled up completely. All right, let's do this. He doesn't drag things out to avoid dampening the excitement of the stream. He quickly hits the ready button, and Oni-chan's custom match begins. It's the first match with anything goes rules. As a result of being quickly targeted by the 5 nearby teams, Oni-chan's team ended up in 19th place out of the 20 teams. Well, this is a bit different from what I expected. The comments section is filled with lol. What did you expect? And were you even trying? As both fans and haters alike laugh at his instant death. Although Oni-chan initially suffered a fatal blow to his streaming career due to the streaming incident, he somehow managed to bounce back and continue, even up to the present day. Chapter 1, Encounter with a Famous Streamer. It was the day after Oni-chan had ended his lively stream. Here you go, Ayaki. Enjoy. Wow. Thank you, Rina-san. Don't worry about it. I was going to throw these away if nobody was going to eat them, so I'm really glad you came. Feel free to eat as much as you like. Okay, it was Sunday. Aya had been invited to a room in a high-rise condominium with floor-to-ceiling glass walls, and indeed, the person inviting her was none other than Momozono Rina, a member of the professional gaming team, Axis Crown, and an owner of a channel with nearly 700,000 subscribers. She's also widely known as the otaku-friendly gal among her viewers. The reason Aya was invited over was because of the freshly baked food that had just been served. Wow, Rina-san, how did you end with these? I only mentioned briefly during a stream that I wanted to try some baked food, and here we are. However, their expiration date is close. My viewers are seriously merciless. Rina, who was smiling wryly while twirling her glossy blonde hair with her index finger, sat on the sofa with her legs crossed. Though her expression appears somewhat dumbfounded, her gestures of embarrassment clearly show that she is grateful. By the way, these fluffy sweatpants I'm wearing right now were also a gift. Ayaki, do you want them? I don't know if it's lucky 7 or what, but I received 7 pairs and can't possibly use them all. No, I'm fine. I can't wear ones with such short length. Don't they fit you? Well, this is kind of hard to say, but my thighs aren't as slim as yours. Rina-san. Aya lifted her skirt slightly, revealing her thighs wrapped in black stockings. Being of the same gender and well acquainted with each other, there's no embarrassment in doing such things. You see, mine are thick, right? Even with stockings, they're like this. If you keep saying that you're thick, you'll definitely get some backlash. Besides, from a guy's perspective, that's the best size. They say, the softness is just right. Is that so? Yeah, I've heard it before, so I'm certain. In that case, I'll eat more. Hee, sure, go ahead. Aya laughs with a sense of acceptance, showing her white teeth as she squints her eyes, just like Rina. By mixing truth and sincerity, Rina was able to convince her. Among streamers, there are those who, for safety reasons, refrain from accepting food and drinks from fans, while there are also those who don't mind. Currently, their affiliated agencies establish rules that no homemade items, No raw items, and no unsealed items are allowed to be delivered. These rules are enforced by staff conducting inspections, ensuring that gifts are safe and secure. Aya, enjoying the baked food as if savoring it, finishes chewing and swallowing before speaking up. Hey, Rina-san. Yeah? I think there'll be an Abex Scrim tournament next week. What do you think about it? Oh, actually, I was waiting for those words. Scrim is a term referring to unranked practice matches held with only professionals, simulating real competitions. With a smirk, Rina continues. Lately, I've been on fire, you know? It's as if I have awakened my true power or something. I'm racking up like 10 kills every match. Wow, that's really impressive. Right? And Ayaki, you seem to be doing great too. I watched your stream this morning. Really? Absolutely. Although they've had fewer opportunities to play together recently, there's still a way to easily keep up with each other's growth. That's by peeking into each other's streams. I was just preparing a meal, so I watched you play for about an hour. The endgame was really intense, wasn't it? You mean the second game? We were so close to winning. Yeah, you really were. It's too bad that your teammate died early into the fight. In the end, it was probably a matter of numbers. HMNN. But if I had dealt a bit more damage. Thinking about it makes me frustrated. Nahi, with that attitude, I can rest assured that our main firepower is in good hands. Rather than blaming teammates for mistakes, they focus on self-reflection. Above all, they hate losing. This attitude is necessary to improve in the game. The owner is probably busy. But well, it's Chio-san we're talking about, so there's no need to worry. She'll definitely have everything sorted out by the tournament. Right. I heard that a schedule was already decided for the three of us. This is the Abex team, Axis Crown, who are backed by multiple sponsors. The main firepower and attacker of the team, 18-year-old Aya. The main cover and support of the team, 22-year-old Rina. The leader, IGL, and the owner of the pro gaming team, 24-year-old Chio. This team is unique in that all the members are female, but their chemistry is excellent, and they're rumored to be the most powerful team this year. Don't forget about team practice this week, Ayaki. Of course, the team practices are geared towards the scrim, and they are conducted with the tournament setting in mind, where each enemy will be highly skilled. There are no cutting corners. They do their best to prepare meticulously and give it their all to secure a top position. This is their way of repaying the viewers who supported their team. It would be great if we could at least make it to the top 3, but with heavy competition from teams like the Zest division, it's going to be a tough fight. Let's just play aggressively. Well, I wonder how that'll turn out. While strategies and tactics are decided through discussions among all members, Chio, the leader, loves to do something flashy. She'll probably say something like, "Oh, that's a great idea. Let's go with that." Well, let's just adjust accordingly such that we won't have regrets. Yeah, the two exchange a fist bump, unable to hide their excitement. However, this cheerful atmosphere is about to change soon. On a separate note, how have things been lately with Oni-chan? I haven't received any updates, but is your relationship going well? Exclamation mark. You can't tell me there hasn't been any progress, right? I mean, I heard you were even on Oni-chan's stream yesterday. You are. It's all because of Rina's question that. With light gasps, Aya's gaze wandered around rapidly as her hands trembled while holding the baked food in hand. She's visibly shaken. I'm just a bit curious, you know? Even just a tiny bit. Could you tell your senpai about it? It wouldn't hurt, right? With a smirk, Rina licks her lips as if she's caught her prey, leaving Aya with no escape. Well, there's nothing at all, really, and me dropping by yesterday was purely coincidental. Just a coincidence, huh? Why yeah. But, knowing Oni-chan's face means you've met him in real life, right? Surely your relationship has deepened more than before? I'll exercise my right to remain silent. With that declaration, Aya covers her mouth with both hands. Though her actions seem to speak louder than words, it's a testament to her unwavering determination. I see. So Ayaki thinks he's a good guy. Why yeah, actually, I don't mind saying this, but there was a time when Oni-chan helped me when I was being teased for my dialect. He's a really good person. With a narrowed gaze, Aya conveys her thoughts with a nostalgic smile. It's only natural to fall for someone like that. Nahi, you're quite firm in ignoring your senpai like this. While Aya sits there with sealed lips, giving a stern look and resisting with all her might, Rina, on the other hand, appears to be having a great time, flashing a big smile. Well, leaving that aside, as if to change the atmosphere of the moment and the topic of conversation, Rina claps her hands together. If he's really like that, it's even more of a shame. And more of a shame? I don't really want to say this, but if Oni-chan's streaming style were more conventional, he probably wouldn't have been excluded from various events, and he might have even been able to join a pro team. Ah, so you think so too, Rina-san? Well, yeah. Oni-chan isn't even part of a team, yet he's reached the top ranks by himself, all while battling against stream snipers who hate him. From my perspective, his attacking prowess is among the top 5 even among pros. That's not wrong, right? When it comes to combat in the highest level, he's usually taking out at least 1.5 opponents. As players who both compete in the top ranks, most of their opinions align. By the way, stream sniping refers to the act of intentionally joining the same match as a streamer and using the stream to gain an advantage in the game. Naturally, this includes their location, putting the streamer at a disadvantage. However, even in such situations, Oni-chan manages to overcome the odds and continue winning. Provoking others isn't something that works without the corresponding gaming skill. Oni-chan, who has managed to turn it into entertainment, possesses skills that even pro gamers have to acknowledge. Well, I'm not saying he should go pro, but personally, I'd like to see him participate in casual tournaments limited to streamers. Oni-chan has a certain level of charisma, and he easily surpasses the subscriber requirements for such tournaments. Plus, as a streamer, he'd be able to provide some entertaining content for others due to his behavior. I think it's an environment that suits him. That's certainly true. The more excitement there is in tournaments, the more the industry as a whole benefits, right? Stretching her arms up high and letting out a big stretch, Rina conveys her thoughts passionately. From her position as a pro, she also considers the industry's perspective. As Ayaki says, Oni-chan seems to have a good personality, so as long as he sticks to the status quo, everything will probably go well since everyone's already aware of his character. The more I think about it, the more I feel like he'd be a perfect fit. Tournaments limited to streamers tend to be quite friendly. Of course, they're enjoyable, but since they're held annually and with multiple straight games, they can become a bit monotonous. In such situations, just having one person playing the role of the hated can spice things up and bring a different atmosphere to the tournament. Can you imagine if, let's say, Oni-chan got sniped while he's teabagging a streamer he just defeated? Ahaha. That would definitely be something. I'm tempted to ask the organizers about it. It's still early in the planning stages, so they might be open to suggestions. Everyone is well aware that organizers tend to play safe and avoid risks. The chances of the negotiation succeeding are slim, maybe around 10%, but Oni-chan has over 200,000 subscribers, so here's the numbers to bring in viewers. It's worth a shot. But, do you think there's someone who would be willing to team up with Oni-chan? We can just team up with him, Ayaki, the 3 of us, me, you, and Oni-chan. The owner can't participate in streamer tournaments anyway. Oh, that's true. Aya and Oni-chan are so close to each other that they're able to walk home together. There's no reason for her to refuse. Furthermore, with 2 attacker mains and 1 support main, the team will lack an IGL, but that's part of what makes casual tournaments unique. Wait a minute, Rina-san. What's up? I've been telling you all about him, so you must be interested in Oni-chan, right? You're trying to create opportunities to interact with him. That's not true at all. It's just a coincidence. That's definitely a lie. Such voices echo in Rina's room. Meanwhile, the host herself wears a smile that's hard to read. The setting remained unchanged. Within the same living room. Mataku, you should have told me that you haven't eaten before coming. Ayaki, I'll go whip up something for you right away. Standing in the neat and tidy open kitchen was Rina, who was rhythmically handling a knife. And peeking out from the back of the sofa was Aya, who responded with a pleasant smile. I appreciate you trying to help clear all my baked food, but filling your stomach with just those is tough, isn't it? Well, I just wanted to respond to Rina-san's SOS as much as possible. It's nice of you to say that. Rina continued to skillfully move her hands while brightening her voice. Well, we're teammates, so feel free to rely on me more, okay? That way, I can talk about it during my stream. By the way, every time Rina-san does that, I get messages like it's unfair that you get homemade food. Or I wish I was in that position. Hee. Well, it's a kind of trade-off, but feel free to also bring up my topics during your streams anytime. Thank you. With a 4-year age gap between them, as both a teammate and senpai, Rina plays a big sister-like role to Aya. I've been wondering for a while now, but Rina-san is really talented. You can stream and cooks by yourself. Meanwhile, I just buy ready-to-eat food from the supermarket or use Uber Eats for my meals. Actually, I think that's the most reasonable lifestyle for you. Ayaki. You're attending university and streaming at the same time, so you don't really have time to cook, right? Yeah. But, well, I understand that you want to be able to treat someone to your homemade meals, especially when you're interested in him! Exclamation mark. The moment these words were thrown at her, Aya's eyes widened and she withdrew her face from the sofa. Oh, right. Putting that aside. Why yeah? Feeling like the conversation had returned to a safe topic, Aya once again popped her neatly arranged face back into view. When you first interacted with Oni-chan, didn't you get a message from Chio-san? Our team has sponsors, so there's this concern about public perception, right? Given that Aya was still interacting with Oni-chan, it goes without saying that their interaction wasn't really seen as a problem. However, for Rina, who wanted Oni-chan to participate in the streamer tournament, she wanted to know the owner's intentions and how to handle the situation. Well, actually, right after I matched with Oni-chan for the first time, I immediately contacted the owner. Even though it was just a coincidence, some people might misunderstand and think otherwise. Oh, that's smart risk management. What did she say? I got a reassuring reply. No matter what happens, I'll protect you, so feel free to keep doing what you're doing. She also said I'm expecting great things from you, just like from Rina-san. Seriously? Yeah. At this moment, Rina's hands stopped while cooking. Even if she never heard it herself, being complimented by the owner, whom she's indebted to, made her happy. Moreover, this reminded her of the owner's consistent stance on protecting the members while letting them grow. This made her feel grateful to be part of the team. By the way, I've been exchanging emails with Oni-chan for a while now, and we've even become mutual followers on social media. After every match we played, I would also receive a very polite message saying, I was just playing my character. It reminded me of how nice of a person he was. I see. With a smirk, Rina resumed moving her hands. Aya is being Aya, while Chayo, the owner, is responding in a way that's typical of herself. It's probably because they trust each other that they're able to handle things this way. Also, thanks to Chayo not restricting contact with Oni-chan, Aya was able to maintain her relationship with him, which in turn helped to grow both of their channels. This also has the side effect of spreading awareness of their team as a whole. Currently, Aya, who belongs to Axis Crown, is the only one deeply involved with Oni-chan, who's growing at an extremely fast pace. If that's Chio-san's stance, it might come down to the management's decision. Perhaps the management is curious about how far Oni-chan will push the boundaries, so if we understand that, it might really work out. Rina-san is really serious about getting Oni-chan to participate in the tournament, of course. And, since it'll be Oni-chan's first tournament, he'll get a lot of attention from viewers and other streamers, right? His inexperience might be on full display. At this question, Aya, with a puffy thought bubble floating above her head, seems to have no trouble imagining the situation, especially since she knows Oni-chan's real identity as Haruto. She can easily picture his high-pitched voice, his nervous fidgeting with the mouse cursor, and even his tendency to drink a lot from nervousness and make frequent trips to the bathroom. That could be a bit of a problem. A problem? She utters these words with a hint of agreement. Well, if Oni-chan becomes even more popular, it might be really hard to schedule collaborations with him in the future. Oh, don't worry about that. It'll be fine. Huh? Seeing Aya let out a dumbfounded sound, Rina responded in her usual excitement. If it comes down to that, I'll collaborate in your place. Why? Nahi. Naturally. Aya exploded with an outburst of retort. After finishing Rina's homemade food and chatting for about 2 hours, and Rina-san, thank you so much for today. Thanks for sending me off. Oh, don't worry about it. You can come over anytime. Even if it's just to eat, you're always welcome here. Yeah, then, I'll continue to rely on you. Sure. This exchange takes place in front of Aya's apartment building entrance, where she lives alone. Hey Ayaki, are you going to stream now? Yeah. I'm gonna stream like crazy. You seem unusually fired up. The reason for glossing over the word streaming is primarily to prevent any risk of revealing personal information. The risks of such exposure have been extensively explained by the agency. That's right. After eating Rina-san's cooking, I feel even more empowered. Got it? Well, in that case, let's not waste energy here. Huh? I'm not that weak. Nahi. Well, in that case, I won't forgive you if you throw the game later. Just kidding. With a smirk and a wink, Rina skillfully deflects the conversation, acknowledging Aya's response while gently redirecting it. Well then, Ayaki. Good luck with your work. She probably wanted to stream as soon as possible. Without waiting for a response, she waves goodbye. Oh, bye. Take care on your way back, Rina-san. Yep. Thanks. Responding firmly to Aya's last words, Rina continues to wave as they part ways. She lifts her black mask and adjusts her cap, then heads home. Phew. This is still inconvenient. Huh. Celebrities must have it even worse, she murmurs to herself with a wry smile, walking alone. A professional gamer whose name is known to anyone who's played Apex, and whose prowess with support characters is frequently discussed among players of the game. Affiliated with the major gaming team Axis Crown, is AC_Ina. Not only is she talented at the game, but her streaming style, usually with a face cam, consistently draws an average viewer count of 5 digits. Because of her large fan base, Rina hides her appearance when she goes out. Well, my current lifestyle happened because I showed my face, so I can't really regret it. After graduating high school, Rina entered the world of streaming while working a job. At first, nobody watched, but ever so gradually, Rina started gaining viewers and was able to build momentum after switching her streaming style to include a face cam. As a result, she was eventually able to focus on streaming full-time. If I showed my past self the current number of subscribers I have, she'd be so surprised. Feeling somewhat nostalgic about those days, Rina continued walking, but then, she suddenly stopped. At that moment, what she remembered was an advertisement she had seen on Twitter this morning. It was a promotion for the limited-time release of the Gora Peach Frappuccino starting today at the cafe. As a peach lover, this advertisement caught her eye, so she immediately pressed the like button and checked out the details of the product. It was something she wanted to try. Wow, I should have remembered this sooner. If I had, I could have gone with Ayaki, she mumbled, raising one eyebrow while scratching her head under her cap. Aya had already declared that she was going to go streaming, and with her genuinely straightforward nature, she was probably in the middle of her preparations. Inviting her now would undoubtedly be rude. Well, on the bright side, the cafe is nearby, and there shouldn't be many people at this time. Rina didn't often go to cafes, so going alone made her feel a bit uneasy, but she had already set her eyes on the peach frappuccino. All right, let's go. Without further ado, she spun halfway round and started walking towards a book cafe. This might be a little indulgent, but I'll work hard on tonight's stream to make up for it. Rina, who usually enjoyed pleasing acquaintances, friends, and viewers more than indulging herself, often spent her money on the former. For this reason, Her first thought was, I'll make sure to share my thoughts on the drink during the stream. This was a mindset she always had, and such awareness has helped her build a large fan base. About 10 minutes of walking later, Rina arrives at the cafe she was looking for. As expected for the time of day, the interior of the cafe was empty, just as she had predicted. All right, this works out. Adjusting her hat once again, Rina enters the cafe, eyeing the poster advertising the peach frappuccino. Come. She immediately hears a friendly greeting from the staff behind the counter. That was a weirdly long greeting. Did something happen? I don't think I've been recognized. But for a moment, a bad feeling creeps in, but she's confident in her disguise. There must be another reason for the hesitation. After all, Rina has only been recognized once before, and that was at the Abex Legends pop-up store, a shop related to Abex. With her own experiences and her disguise, she can't afford to be overly self-conscious all the time. Now that I think about it, stylish places like this always seem to have good-looking staff. They practically scream taken or something. With these thoughts in mind, Rina straightens up and approaches the staff at the counter with a friendly smile. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. He's so friendly, and he's smiling like crazy. I would totally be into this type, huh? Well, he must be a popular staff member. The staff, who wearing a name tag that reads Haruto, is beaming with such a sparkling smile that it seems like something good must have happened to him. The manager definitely put him at the register to attract more customers. Will you be dining in or taking out? Oh, takeout. Got it. When you're ready to order, please let me know. I'll have the Gora peach frappuccino in regular size. The regular size peach frappuccino. Got it. Would you like any specific customizations? I'm not really familiar with that kind of stuff. Do you have any recommendations, Oni-san? If I'm going to buy it, I want to enjoy it to the fullest. It costs 700 yen, after all. Even when indulging, Rina doesn't want to waste a single yen. Despite earning a significant income from her streaming career, Rina's mindset hasn't changed from her past when it comes to things like this. Well, the peach frappuccino doesn't come with syrup, so if you prefer it sweeter, I recommend adding some white mocha syrup. It'll cost slightly more, but this is the most popular add-on right now. Wow, do any customers also add citrus pulp to the drink? Yes. We have 2 customers doing that today. We use orange and yuzu peels, so you can enjoy a variety of flavors. I see. He explained it so politely. If you're a first-time customer here, you definitely feel like you want to come back. He kindly explained to me without showing any signs of annoyance. Though it was my first meeting with him, my first impressions were quite favorable. I should probably take note of this in my streams, because she uses facecam when streaming. First impressions are all the more important. In that aspect, there's something similar to maintaining retention rates and repeat visitors. Rina's goal is to reach 1 million subscribers. To achieve such a milestone, attention to details like this is necessary. I hope you don't mind me asking, but you seem really knowledgeable despite the product coming out today. Oh, thank you. Well, you see, I've actually tested about 4 different cups today to confirm their taste. 4 cups? Are you okay? I am managing. Phew. That's definitely tough. For a brief moment, the staff, Haruto, showed a face of discomfort before reverting back to his friendly expression. Caught off guard by the unexpected revelation, Rina couldn't help but laugh while holding back her mask. This might be the first time I've seen such a hard-working staff. He's not drinking those cups because they were his favorite, but to accurately answer questions related to customizations based on his own experience. So, he was smiling so much because he saw me looking at the posters and thought there might be a chance I'd order a frappuccino. He endured the discomfort from excessive drinking just to be able to answer such questions. It's normal for him to hope that he will have the opportunity to make use of his knowledge. Fufu. That explains why there was a pause during his greeting. He must have been nervous about whether I'd order it or not. Thinking about it that way, the cool staff member starts to seem cute. You can even imagine how everyone around him adores him. Then, this time I'll add the white mocha syrup. Next time, I'll try it with the citrus pulp. We'll be eagerly awaiting your return. That'll be 755 yen, including the customization. I'll pay with card. Thank you very much. Please insert your card here. Here you go. After being politely guided to the card reader, she lightly nodded and inserted the card inside. I want to treat him to something for all his hard work, but if his stomach hurts, being treated might end up being more of a hassle than a favor. That can't be helped. It was just bad timing. Feeling slightly disappointed, Rina finished the payment and moved to the waiting area. After a short while, the same staff returned with a drink in hand. Thank you for waiting. Here's your peach frappuccino. Wow, it looks good. Thank you so much. Rina took the frappuccino from the staff and prepared to head out. Well then, bye-bye, Oni-san. Good luck with your work. Yes. Thank you very much. We look forward to your next visit. She waved goodbye to the polite staff, and as she was leaving the store, she quickly checked her phone to check something she was curious about. Positive word of mouth really does make a difference. Looking up the store she just visited, there was a total of 123 reviews, with a surprising average rating of 4.5 out of 5 stars. Checking the reviews, as expected, there are many high ratings that seem to be referring to the staff member she just encountered. There are also reviews stating I'll definitely be coming back. And I'll be a regular. Indeed, customer service and streaming are quite similar. If that guy went streaming with that kind of skill, I could see him becoming popular. Rina unintentionally let out her thoughts while bringing the straw to her lips. Then, she noticed something written on the container. When she turned the cup around to read it. Have a wonderful day ahead. I'm rooting for you. There was such a message accompanied by a cute illustration. Rooting for you. Me. He knew. Seriously? Also, this is delicious. The shock of the revelation and the deliciousness of the frappuccino caused her mind to blank out. And this illustration? A cute alien jellyfish? The quirky and incomprehensible illustration further clogged up her thoughts. As she tried to clear her mind, she took another sip of the frappuccino, blinking repeatedly. If he knew about me, that means he probably also plays Abex. I wonder what rank he is. It would be great if I could play with him. While she wished that he could send her a message on Twitter, someone who writes down messages in such a roundabout way and respects her privacy wouldn't do such a thing. The only way she could make progress was to go back to the store next time. Hi. Oh well, I can talk about this when streaming. Maybe I should name it the Jellyfish Experience or something like that. With that, she quickly switched gears and shook off any lingering thoughts. Not only was the customer service exceptional, but the fact that the staff considered her privacy made her happy. I'll tell Ayaki about the nice staff I met today. With a cheerful mood, Rina headed home with those thoughts in mind. As time passed, it was now 8 p.m., with the moonlight illuminating the streets. Now then, let's see. In her stylish and clean soundproof room filled with Axis Crown merchandise and sponsored products, Rina, whose voice resonated like musical notes, reported on Twitter that she had set up a waiting room and was preparing for her stream. First, a quick tidying of her room. Then, a light touch of makeup. Rina was one of the rare few in the industry who had grown her channel through the inclusion of face cams. Since she constantly showed her appearance against the backdrop of the room, she had to pay attention to her appearance and her surroundings. And then, oh, right, I almost forgot. She tested the camera she would use for the live stream. After checking the angle, she hurriedly adjusted it such that the sponsored products were facing forward. All right. This should be fine. Once she finished preparing her surroundings, she sat in her gaming chair and opened a drawer. Today, I'll need these. She took out 2 items, a notepad and a 5-color ballpoint pen. The notepad contained a list of topics to discuss during the stream. As she thought about new topics, she added them to the list to remind her to talk about them that day. The most important thing for Rina during her streams is her motto to deliver as many topics as possible to her viewers. To avoid awkward moments, she made sure to minimize periods of silence. This was something she had been conscious of since the day she started streaming. So it was surprising when who would have thought there would be someone else doing the same thing as me. Even the troublemaker of the Abex community, known as Oni-chan, had been creating scripts and doing similar things. While Oni-chan's streaming style was completely different from hers, the fact that they shared the same mindset naturally evoked a sense of respect. Thinking about him brought forth more and more thoughts. Actually, I don't think someone who can do this needed to rely on acting toxic as their selling point. Continuous effort to entertain viewers will eventually be rewarded. If someone were to call this idealistic, there wouldn't be much she could argue against. But Rina still believes in it. For Aya to get involved to that extent, he must really be a good person. His streaming style really doesn't match up. As she sticks a notepad onto the wall, she unconsciously smiles. She can say this because of the actions she's observed from Aya so far. This is especially evident during streamer gatherings or pro-gaming team gatherings she's attended. In stark contrast to her friendly demeanor during collaborative streams, Aya was known to cling to female acquaintances, including Rina. Even if circumstances led to a one-on-one interaction with males, she quickly showed a knack for escaping, like playing tag, and immediately returned to her female friends. Even if invited to hang out by popular colleagues of the opposite sex in the industry, she would always decline without hesitation. Her overly cautious nature, which was influenced by her all-girls school background, became apparent only when meeting her face-to-face, but she seemed to have no issue getting along with Oni-chan. From this, it was clear that Oni-chan was a person who was not the toxic person he made out to be outside of streaming. Fufu, well, I really resonate with Oni-chan's approach. For streamers, it's crucial to have their own unique strengths, to solidify their character, to stand out among many others, to leave a lasting impression. Oni-chan must have thought about these two things when he chose to go down the path he did. And, Rina, too, has carefully considered her impactful strengths and created her character accordingly. With a flashy appearance, plenty of romantic and adult experiences, any such consultations were no big deal to her. At least, that's the fabricated persona she created. All right, maybe it's time to get to work. Glancing at the clock, there are 5 minutes left before the start of the stream. Normally, she would wait until the remaining time passed, but Rina decided to start her stream earlier to help establish her character. Alrighty, everyone, sorry to keep you waiting. As soon as her voice and face appear, comment, she's Harry E. Comment, Kourei. Comment, nice early stream. Comment, she's starting early again lol. Comment, you're cute today too. A flood of viewer comments streams in, and she continues to speak while reading them. Well, I just couldn't wait until the reserve time. Oh yeah, that's right. For everyone who waited early, I'll show you something special. From now until the start of the main stream, she always created this kind of private time. Standing up from her gaming chair and showing her whole body to the camera, Rina displayed the mini-bottom attire she wore for this stream. Hasn't it been a while since I showed off my legs? And, isn't this super cute? I'm confident enough that I could wear it for a fashion contest. As she extended both hands lightly to her viewers, there were immediate reactions. Comment, oh, legs. Comment, your legs were too beautiful. Comment, thighs. That's nice. Comment, itchy. Comments flooded in, touching only on her body and not mentioning the fashion. From past experiences, this reaction was expected, and it was something she had intentionally aimed for. Hey, it's because you geese make such naughty comments so quickly that you can't graduate. As she lightly dismissed it, she returned to her gaming chair and received passionate comments like let us graduate with Rina-chan. You want to graduate with me? Well, if I feel like it, maybe it's not a bad idea. Clumsy people are cute in their own way. She smirked as she responded, causing a surge of excitement in the comments. Well, I don't have time to entertain everyone individually. And so, just as planned, Rina spent her time leading up to the mainstream establishing her character firmly as she intended. Then, 2 hours into the stream, she took a break. Right. By the way, did everyone try the new peach frappuccino at the cafe? I tried it, and it was seriously good. By the way, I got them to draw something for me. Take a look at this. Isn't it cool? Bringing up this topic, Rina shows the cup she finished drinking from on the stream. Comment, LOL. Comment, What's with that drawing lol? Comment. It's certainly unique. Comment. The barrister who drew that is cute haha. Comment. Wait. Isn't Rina-san just showing off lol? At that moment, comments started flooding in. Hey, hold on everyone. Isn't this cute? You don't need to laugh so much. She continues to enjoy bantering with her viewers. Little did Rina know, one of her teammates who happened to stumble upon the stream was staring in shock at the unique illustration. Chapter 2, Accidental Interaction. The day after Rina's stream. It was a holiday morning. Hey, you want to play Shiratari? I've got some pencils and paper ready. What? Why all of a sudden? This is kinda random. The sound of footsteps rushing down the stairs. The sound of the door to the living room opening and closing. In the living room, where the TV was on, the voices of a pair of siblings echoed. Don't think too much about it. It's just to kill time. But I'm busy relaxing. See, come on. It's the holidays. I'll go back to my room after 1 or 2 rounds. You definitely won't let it end after 1 round. Not to mention, Shiratari takes a while to finish. If it's fun, let's do a second round. Okay? Alright, fine. You won't be satisfied until we play anyways. Yes. Thank you. Seeing Haruto's desperate look, Yuna had no choice but to agree. It doesn't look like it was just a way to kill time. Yuno stood up from the sofa and sat at the dining table with a sullen look. Haruto, looking pleased, sat down opposite her. Just so you know, I'm only going to play until I get tired of it. Of course. Can I start? Go ahead. All right, let's start. The difference in enthusiasm between Haruto, who was excited, and Yuno, who was not interested at all, was like night and day. Still, the younger sister didn't outright show her displeasure. Resting her cheek on her hand, she watched intently as her brother moved the pencil across the paper, waiting for him to finish. How about this? That's a pretty good apple. Ringo. With just this, you could probably get a 4.0 in art, right? Having this skill is also useful for my part-time job sometimes. Even though it was an apple that anyone could draw well, praising it without pointing that out was a form of kindness. Yuna took the paper and pencil and began to draw something starting with go. At that moment, she didn't notice Haruto looking at her with a gentle expression. Come to think of it, isn't this weird? I don't have school today, but Oni-chan woke up early. Well, sometimes you have days like that. Yeah. Well, that's true. All right, your turn. She looked up and passed the paper and pencil back. This is pretty good. A gorilla, huh? I can't draw it realistically, though. Well, it looks really cute. You're pretty good at drawing it this way. Haruto, impressed once again, started drawing something that started with Ra. Hey, Oni-chan, why did you suddenly want to play Shiratari so desperately, huh? I mean, there must be a reason, right? You wouldn't do that for no reason. There must have been something that led to this. Since I'm playing along, I think I have the right to know. Ahahaha. With a wry smile as if to say you've seen through everything, Haruto slows down the speed of his pencil and gives a simple explanation. Just so you know, it's not like something bad happened. I just have a sudden desire to draw better. Oh? Hey, you, what do you think of this? He quickly shows what he drew next after finishing the Ra. I think you captured the features well. It's a rat yet cute camel. Rikuda. Why yeah. So, what do you think would happen if you posted this on my stream? You'd probably get teased or laughed at. Exactly. That's why I want to get better. Haruto couldn't contain his excitement after encountering a celebrity who was one of the faces of Abex. After finishing his part-time job, he decided to peek into Rina's archived stream for about an hour. What he saw was her expressing her thoughts on the new Frappuccino, and then, the reaction from viewers upon seeing the illustration on the cup. Comment, LOL. Comment, what's with that drawing lol? Comment, it's certainly unique. Comments like these were plentiful. As someone in the streaming business, it was heartwarming to see his own illustrations spark excitement among viewers. While being laughed at wouldn't hurt, seeing such reactions made him want to draw something that would make people go, wow. You can draw something this good? The likelihood of Rina becoming a regular customer was low, but she had promised to come again next time. Haruto also felt that if she were to feature his illustration on stream again, It would be easier if the drawing was better. In other words, Oni-chan, if you're going to spend more time drawing, might as well play Shiratari at the same time, is that right? Of course, there's also the reason that I wanted to play with you. You don't have to say things like that. Yuno could tell that Haruto was in a good mood. Well, Oni-chan, I get why you're doing this, but you don't really have to try to get better, right? I'm not saying this because I don't want to play Shiratari. What do you mean? Well, if you get too good at it, your individuality might just disappear. It wouldn't be fun if your drawings became ordinary. That's true. Rather than drawing conventional illustrations that anyone can do, those who do it with unique characteristics tend to be more captivating. Such things can also make people happy or uplifted. That was Yuno's point of view. Unless customers complain or feel uncomfortable seeing your illustrations, it should be fine, right? Unless that happens, then I think it's best to continue doing things with your current style. That's what I believe. Anyways, do you really think so? Yes. That's why I say that instead of worrying about such complicated things, just spending more time drawing and enjoying would be the best. I see. If you say so, then I'll do that. Though he initially had doubts, quickly adopting her suggestion blindly was a testament to how much Haruto trusted Yuno's words. Besides, there are other things to worry about because somebody somewhere is clumsy at everything except for games. Huh? At the moment when Haruto let out a bewildered voice, Yuno finished drawing the illustration of a pill bug, Dangamushi, furrowing her brows as she handed him the paper. Hey, Oni-chan. You haven't slept yet, have you? You've been studying how to draw better all night, right? Oh, of course not. You've got dark circles under your eyes. Don't deny it. Huh? That's a lie. I didn't have any when I washed my face. Yeah, I was just kidding. But from that reaction, you can't hide it anymore. With words overlapping, they continued to gaze silently at each other. I don't think it's good to deceive your family. It's also not good to lie to your family, right? Although Haruto attempted some sort of comeback, this was Yuno's arena. There was nothing the older brother could do. Well, I'll keep playing Shiratari with you until you get bored, so make sure you go to bed properly after that. You're streaming tonight, right? I'm planning to, but you know how sometimes after the peak of drowsiness, you suddenly don't feel sleepy anymore? Then let's just end it once we reach. Oh, okay. I'll make sure to sleep no matter what. It's a promise. I'll go check if there are any strange noises in your room at some point. Got it? For Haruto, who still wanted to prolong this time, the better choice was to go with his sister's suggestion. And while Yuno is clearly manipulating Haruto, the best course of action, for now, would be to quickly end the Shiratari game and usher him back to his room. Not doing so would imply, well, you know. Oh, Oni-chan. Later, could you bring the sweet container from the shelf above the kitchen before you go to bed? Tea. The sweet container? I turned the frappuccino cup you bought yesterday on your way back from work into a sweet container. I didn't expect it to be used like this. Ah, ha. As Yuno pointed in that direction, Haruto's gaze fell directly upon the words written on the cup. Take care of yourself. Make sure to get some rest. Now, like a boomerang, it feels as if the words were redirected back at him. All Haruto could do now was to smile wryly at the situation. Time passed, and 2 days later, the holiday was over, and it was Monday, the day when school started again. Good morning, Yuno-chan. Good morning. You're as early as ever, says Yuha-chan, and it's admirable that you're studying on your own so early. Well, the final exams are coming up, so I feel like I have to do my best. I see. It would be nice to be praised again by a certain Oni-chan. Yuno-chan. He. As soon as their eyes met, Yuno's best friend, says Yuha, blushed and let out an embarrassed sigh, her cheeks turning crimson. As she clasped her hands together and looked down, Yuno knew. She knew the reason why says Yuha wanted to study hard. Aside from the desire to go to her university of choice. Then maybe I'll try to come to school a little earlier too. I think I can concentrate better that way. You're going to come earlier? I'd like to say maybe tomorrow. But lately, I've been dragged into playing picture Shiratari with my Bakuaniki since morning. Well, I guess it's more accurate to say I'm being forced to join in. Picture Shiratori? It was an unexpected game to hear. Suzuha widened her blue eyes and blinked rapidly. Realizing that she probably wanted to know why Picture Shiratori, Yuno quickly added an explanation. He said he wants to improve his illustrations for work and he even started to reduce his sleep time for it. He was trying to perfect his drawing skills, but I managed to convince him to focus on expanding his repertoire of illustrations instead. That's really like Haruto Unis. Serious and hardworking. Well, it's one of the good things about my Bakuaniki, I guess. But it's good that he's focusing on expanding his repertoire. I don't want Haruto Unis to push himself too hard with perfecting his skills. I know, right? He's already busy every day, and he's really bad at managing his time. Plus, he tries to act normal even when he's sick, which is annoying. And his acting is strangely good in that department for some reason. Yuno complains bitterly, but like Suzuha, it comes from a place of concern. They've started playing Picture Shiratori in the morning instead of at night. Considering Haruto's tiredness after work, he tries to act normal even when he catches a cold because he doesn't want to worry you, Yuno-chan. I'm sure you can tell. I'm not particularly worried, though. Really? Liar. It's not a lie. At that moment, Yuno's gaze wandered, and her speech hastened. Her cheeks turned red as if it was right on the mark. Being bad at such lies must be a trait inherited from her brother. And there was something that led up to this behavior between the two. On the day Haruto Unis had a high fever, Yuno-chan looked like she wanted to rush home immediately! You kept saying you wanted to leave early. On that day, Haruto had a fever close to 40 degrees. Throughout the day, Yuno was restless, showing no signs of concentration during classes. The moment the last period ended, she hurriedly made her way to the bike parking area. Suzuha had undeniable evidence, enough to refute Yuno's claim of not being worried. Well, I mean, if you think about it, it's common to worry about your family in such a situation. I didn't really have to refute that now, did I? The active Yuno and the quiet Suzuha teased each other all the time. That's how their relationship has always been. When I get home, I'll take it out on my Bakuaniki. After all, this happened because he caught a cold. Really? Yeah, really. This indeed started with Haruto catching a cold, but catching a cold is inevitable. Her response is a bit of a pity-driven outburst. Still, Suzuha can smile because she knows that Yuno won't vent her frustrations in a way that Haruto dislikes. She might poke him in the side a bit, take him shopping, or even cook more than usual to vent her frustration. That's just how they are. Then maybe I'll send Haruto Unis a message later and ask, did Yuno-chan do anything unpleasant to you? Why, you don't have to do that. Knowing each other's personalities well, once they start poking at each other, there's no stopping. If you do that, I won't invite you to stay over anymore. I was planning to invite you over for the next weekend. That's not fair. Then let's not bring up what we talked about today, okay? Okay, got it. Anyways, let's talk about the sleepover I mentioned earlier. I'm looking forward to it. Me too. When in a tough spot, changing the subject is often the best move. But this was something they had wanted to discuss from the start. Thanks to Yuno's words, they spent the time until the first period planning the sleepover, and then, it was during lunch break, after morning classes, and after the final period that they talked about it again. Maybe this is karma. Yuno spoke these words while on her way home. She looked at her bike which was stuck because the chain had tangled up. I guess it's not right to vent at someone who's working hard for my sake. After all, it happened on a busy street. The pedals wouldn't turn. There was nothing to do but sigh at the unfortunate situation. Yuno's only option is to endure an embarrassment of being seen by others and push her bike home. Well, there's no point in staying here forever. As she resolved to change her mindset, it happened. Oh, is something wrong, miss? A clear, transparent voice came from behind. Yuna turned around abruptly to see a blonde woman wearing a hat pulled down low and a black mask, slowly approaching. Well, sorry for startling you. I'm not a suspicious person or anything. Oh, saying that might make me seem suspicious instead. Then what should I say? Maybe this? The woman, who had a clear and beautiful voice, started talking to herself. Then, she adjusted her mask under her chin, revealing her stunningly beautiful face like a model. She gave a reassuring wink. "Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Don't worry about it." "So, did your bike chain come off by any chance?" Yuno, shaken by the sudden approach and the rapid fire of words, was feeling flustered by the woman's communication skills, which she had never encountered before. But she also felt a sense of familiarity with this approachable woman of the same gender. Her guard naturally lowered, and she calmly explained the situation. "Why yes. It just happened out of nowhere. Can I take a look at your bike for a moment?" "Oh, sure." The way she closed the distance between them felt as if they had spoken several times before. Yuno, still unable to keep up with her pace, stepped from the bike. The woman then placed her handbag on the ground and began inspecting the bike. "Ah, I see. The chain got tangled here. That's why the pedals won't turn, right?" "Why yes. Exactly. This is the most troublesome type where it won't move unless you lift the rear wheel." "Give me a moment. I'll help you fix it." Even though I'm wearing a mask, back in my student days, they used to call me Rina the bike fixer, so rest assured. Her mouth was hidden behind the mask, but even so, the woman called Rina smiled with her eyes as she confidently grabbed the chain with her bare hands. "All right. If I remember correctly, I had to do this and this." With these words, she removed the tightly caught chain and moved it to fit into the ring with her congested fingers. And 2 minutes later, "All right, it's fixed. Look, the pedal's turning smoothly now!" Exclamation mark. "Isn't that great? Now you can go home just like usual." To avoid getting her dirty hands from touching the chain, Rina spins the pedals to show that it has been fixed. Afterwards, Rina puts her arm through the handle of her handbag and stands up, showing no change in demeanor. "Well, it's fixed for now, but it seems like the chain came off due to deterioration, so I think it'd be better to have it checked by a bike shop. It could be troublesome if it breaks again, so this is just a temporary fix, okay?" Rina adjusts her hat with her clean wrists and flashes another smile. "Alright, I'll get it checked at the bike shop soon. Thank you so much. Don't mention it." "From what I remember, it shouldn't cost too much." "Well then, take care on your way home." It's clear that she wasn't looking for any repayment, as she's already about to leave as soon as the matter is settled. Rina even hides her dirty hands behind her back as she bids farewell to avoid making Yuno feel indebted. At that moment, any trace of caution vanished from Yuno's mind. Being helped but not being able to express gratitude was something she couldn't tolerate. She had been repeatedly reminded by her now deceased parents to always say thank you when someone does something for you, but a mere thank you wasn't enough. Summoning her courage, Yuno spoke up. Please, let me thank you properly for this." You really don't have to worry about it. I wasn't inconvenienced by it or anything, but still, it doesn't sit right with me." Well, Rina could only smile wryly at Yuno's words. It was as if she would definitely say the same thing if their positions were reversed. "But, it wouldn't be right for an adult like me to let a high school student treat me, right?" Yuno wanted to repay the favor, but Rina's adult pride doesn't let her accept it. Even if it's just a 100 yen juice, she can't let a high school girl she just met spend her hard-earned money on her. With both of them unable to yield, they lapse into silence. Their inability to compromise stems from their kind-heartedness. I'm sorry to ask you this, but are you hungry by any chance?" "Oh, yeah, I am." "That reminds me." Upon hearing Yuno's question, Rina comes up with a brilliant idea and speaks in a particularly cheerful voice. "How about we go grab a meal together right now? I'll cover the bill, so you can pick the place." "Maybe somewhere with a counter would be good, since we're meeting for the first time and it's less intimidating with other people around." While she frames it as if she was about to eat alone and suggests eating together, Yuno also had a clever idea of her own. Well, in that case, it would be your treat. So, if it's not too much trouble, would you consider letting me treat you at my place? It's not too far from here." No, that's a bit too much. By the way, my parents aren't around anymore, so there's no need to worry about imposing on them. Exclamation mark. Thanks to Haruto's presence, Yuno has managed to overcome the loss of her parents. That's why she can calmly mention this without darkening her expression. However, Rina interprets it differently. So, shall we head over then? Worried about the idea of a high school girl living alone, Rina quickly agrees. With both of them having kind hearts, their compatibility is evident as they walk together, chatting and getting to know each other over the course of 15 minutes. Section. Wow, what a nice house. Upon arriving at Yuno's home, Rina immediately raised her voice in admiration. Thank you. This house was left by my parents. I'm sure your parents are proud of you. You're only a second-year high school student, yet you can manage yourself and guests coming over. Ah, I'd be happy if that's the case. As a working adult, I definitely think so. Rina's personality shone through as she chose uplifting words to prevent any dark atmosphere. Feeling genuinely warmed by these words, Yuno inserted the key into the lock. Opening the door, she began showing Rina around the house. Rina and Ain, the restroom is this way. Thank you. Sorry for the trouble, Yuno-chan. Not at all. It's my fault for getting your hands dirty. Feel free to use the towel that's hanging there. Once you're done, I'll be waiting in the living room. Okay. After this exchange, they temporarily went their separate ways. Rina, with a cheerful reply, used the sink to wash off the stubborn chain grease with hand soap. Afterwards, she made her way to the neatly organized living room. There, she found Yuno already preparing food in the kitchen with the TV turned on in the background. Yuno-chan, sorry, I might have used a bit too much hand soap. Please don't worry about it. Chain grease is hard to get off, so it's normal to use that much. Thank you. Even though she had just met Yuno and understood the challenging circumstances of her household, Rina felt a growing sense of guilt the more soap she used. Because of this, she felt relieved by Yuno's reassuring words. Rina and Ain, do you have any allergies or foods you dislike? I'll make sure to avoid them. Honestly, I can eat anything. Got it? Then I'll start cooking. Please make yourself comfortable and watch TV if you'd like. Yuno smiled warmly as she opened the refrigerator, carefully selecting ingredients. The abundance of food already laid out on the kitchen counter made it clear she intended to offer her utmost hospitality. Rina, who also enjoyed cooking, understood the effort involved in preparing a meal with so many ingredients. Hey, Yuno-chan, why don't we cook together? I actually love cooking. But, wouldn't that be, letting someone do what they love isn't a burden at all. You could even say it's another way to show gratitude. When Rina added let's enjoy this together, Yuno found herself unable to refuse. If you put it that way, then I hope that you don't mind? Nahi, it's not often I get the chance to cook with someone else, so I'd actually like to help. Understood. In that case, let's do it together. Sure. Using her communication skills honed from streaming, Rina convinced Yuno, and she stepped into the kitchen. Well then, Rina and Ain, could I ask you to handle the side dish first? Feel free to use any ingredients or utensils. You're also welcome to use whatever's on the shelves and fridge. Got it? I'll start by seeing what you have. Go ahead. One of the important things in cooking is organization. To proceed smoothly, Rina begins to familiarize herself with the location of seasonings and small cooking utensils. In the midst of this, Rina changes the subject. You know, Yuno-chan, you're really amazing. When I was a second year in high school, I mostly just played around and only did chores when I felt like it. In my case, I think my family environment is a big influence. It's embarrassing to admit, but I'm filled with a desire to make things easier for my brother, Annie, as much as possible. Oh? This was new information to Rina. It's the first time she's learned about Yuno's brother. It was the moment when Rina realized that she misunderstood that Yuno was living alone, but she skillfully hid her surprise by reacting appropriately to the situation. By the way, what about your Oni-chan? Is he kind? Well, yes. Honestly, I'm proud of him. Oni-chan's really amazing, you know? Hey, what's he like? Well, this might be a bit heavy, but with that preamble, Yuno begins her explanation. Oni-chan originally planned to go to university, but after our family situation came to be, He changed his plans to help me attend university in the future instead. Despite being in high school, he adjusted his schedule to meet the minimum attendance and credit requirements for graduation and spent the rest of his time working multiple jobs to earn money. I see. At that moment, Rina stopped cooking and focused intently on listening to Yuno's story, nodding along as she spoke. Because of that. Well, I shouldn't phrase things that way, but Oni-chan, despite being one of the top students in his grade, ended up at the bottom. I'm sure he must have gone through a lot. Even when he was exhausted, even when he was sick, he never showed any sign of weakness to me. But, that only makes me more worried. As she voiced thoughts she rarely shared, she immediately felt a wave of embarrassment wash over her. To cool her heated cheeks, she fanned her face with her hand. Well, Oni-chan has some quirks, like mistaking sugar for salt, but he's someone I deeply respect. Yeah, that's about it. Rina and Ain, are you okay? Sorry. I got a bit emotional there. After hearing all this, I think if you actually met Oni-chan, you'd be like, huh? It's quite different from what I heard. He's really unique in his own way. Well, being too perfect isn't always ideal. Having a few quirks makes someone more special, right? Humans are said to be more charming when they have flaws. It seems like this description fits Yuno's brother perfectly. Listening to your story makes me want to meet your brother sometime. Just hearing you say that makes me happy. My brother loves gaming, so if you're into games, you might get along. He's got a good hobby. So, what kind of games does he play? Sorry, it's not the kind of game women usually play, but he's into shooter games. In particular, he's hooked on this game called Abex. Oh, I see. That's interesting. The name of the game, ever so familiar to Rina, strikes a chord, causing her to unconsciously raise an eyebrow. Abex is pretty famous, even among my classmates. Do you know about it, Rina and Ain? Well, I don't usually say this, but I'm actually part of a pro team for Abex. Huh? Upon hearing this response, Yuno's eyes widen in astonishment. Not only was she taken aback by the shocking revelation, but also by her own insensitive comments stating that I think it's not the type of game most women play. I am so sorry. I didn't mean to say something rude. It's totally fine. There are a ton of male players in the game. After all, it's clear that Yuno did not mean anything malicious, and in such a situation, it's better to just brush it off. Changing the subject, Rina and Ain, you're really amazing to be part of such a team. Oni-chan mentioned to me before how difficult it is to join one. Well, there's definitely an element of luck involved in these things. Some might say it's not good to downplay one's achievements, especially when representing a professional team. However, there are aspects that Rina just can't easily accept. But if Yuno-chan's Oni-chan is into Abex, there's a chance he might know about me, right? I am sure he does. This is just between us, but my Oni-chan also does streaming. Whoa, seriously? Yes. I don't know his channel name or anything, but he has a silver play button, which you get when you have a lot of subscribers. No way. That's actually pretty impressive. It really is. He's amazing. Haruto's streaming activities were something Yuno had never mentioned to anyone before. This time, she broke that barrier with someone she felt could understand and appreciate it, especially considering her involvement in the Abex pro scene. Because of that, Yuno felt like boasting about Haruto, but in a low-key kind of way such that it wouldn't reveal his identity. That's how proud she was of him. Yuno-chan, your Oni-san is seriously amazing. Viewers are human too, right? So, it's pretty hard to attract the same gender when streaming. But despite that, in an environment where the target audience is male for a game like Abex, he's pulling in numbers big enough to get a play button. It's just indescribably impressive. Being someone who also streamed, Rina couldn't help but comment. With her own research in the streaming market, she found that it was easier to attract attention when streaming games played by the opposite sex, which is why she was surprised by the fact that Yuno's brother was able to get a play button which required at least 100,000 subscribers. If Rina and Ain is saying that, then maybe he's even more than I thought. There aren't that many male streamers who can grow their audience that much with Abex, you know. He's undoubtedly an irreplaceable figure in this industry. The person saying this is someone from the same industry. There's no room to doubt their words. However, the feeling of surprise is overshadowed by a sense of unexpectedness, especially considering she had never heard him brag about his streaming career before. I have a question. Is Oni-chan's Oni-san streaming right now? No. He's currently out for work. He's so busy that he only has one day off a week. Wait a second. With that many subscribers, he's not focusing on his streams? Well, yeah. Even without knowing the details of the channel, having over 100,000 subscribers guarantees enough income to make ends meet. Riding the wave, it would be more advantageous to focus on channel management. Describing it as a wasted opportunity wouldn't be entirely inaccurate. I've actually told Oni-chan that I want him to pursue what he loves, even if it means reducing his work hours or becoming a full-time streamer. I see. So, it's about ensuring stable income, right? Exactly. He believes that having a stable income will allow me to focus more on my studies without worrying about him. I see. He's a really good Oni-san, isn't he? He could become even more famous. He could earn even more income. Despite knowing that such high probabilities exist, prioritizing family comes first. It's the safest and the most stable option, without risks or uncertainties. I sometimes feel like I'm being too harsh on Oni-chan. It's really shameful. When the time comes, make sure to express your gratitude sincerely. Yes, if I can't convey my gratitude to him, I don't think I'll ever make it to heaven. Haha, that might be true, although it's a harsh response that should be denied. But in order to encourage, Rina chooses to agree to some extent. What should we do then? Would you like to meet Oni-chan? He'll be back by 7 p.m. since he's on shift until the evening. Well then, I guess it's better to meet. If we can get to know each other once, it'll be easier to invite him to future gaming events. Really? Of course. I wouldn't want to miss the chance to have someone as nice as him to join in. Plus, it'd be nice to have dinner together with the three of us later. Thank you so much for everything. The prospect of Haruto having more opportunities to shine is more than anything to be happy about. With both hands clenched into fists, Yuno expresses her emotions openly, but then immediately catches herself with an "ah," as if snapping back to reality. Arena and Ain. I'm sorry. Maybe it might be difficult for Oni-chan to attend events after all. Huh? Why is that? I can't really explain it in detail, but Oni-chan, well, he's sort of, not really well liked. Huh? Is that so? But he sounds like a great person. Even so, that's how it is. Yuno felt even more apologetic, having received such an opportunity from Rina. This is because she knows what kind of stream Haruto does. It's precisely because his style doesn't cater to everyone that she felt the need to inform Rina beforehand. As the evening sky darkens and stars and the moon begin to appear, they finish cooking and were happily spending the rest of the time chatting. Ta-ta-ta-ta-tan. A rhythmic tune begins to play from Yuno's phone. Oh, it's a call from Oni-chan. Based on the timing, it seems like he's finished his work. Feel free to answer. Should I put it on speakerphone? Hearing his voice might give you an idea of what he's like. I'll leave it to you, Yuno-chan. In that case, I'll put it on speaker. There shouldn't be any conversation that we wouldn't want you to hear. It might seem like a dishonest move towards Haruto, but prioritizing the indebted Rina in this situation is crucial. After initiating the call, Yuno pressed the answer button and then the speaker button to start the conversation. Hello? Hello. Oni-chan, did you just finish work? Yeah, just finished. Did something happen? I got a message saying to contact you as soon as I finished my shift. It's about that. My bike chain came off while I was coming back from school today. What? Are you okay? Did you get hurt? Hey. Your voice is too loud. I wasn't on a dangerous path, so I'm not injured or anything. Glancing at Rina, she notices her chuckling softly. There's nothing to worry about in the conversation, but Yuno still feels embarrassed about it. Well, that's a relief. Oh, so I should pick up your bike on the way home, right? Where did you leave it? No, actually, I was stuck because my bike wouldn't move, but Nani-san helped me out. She fixed the chain for me, so it's at home now. She fixed the chain. Her hands must have gotten dirty, right? Did you ask where she lives? We should go thank her. Being taught by their parents to always show gratitude when someone does something for them. Haruto's response mirrors Yuno's response. Yeah, that's why I wanted to let you know in advance that I thought it'd be nice to invite her over for a meal as a thank you. That's really thoughtful. I'll buy a thank you gift, so please keep her there until I get home. Naturally, Rina can hear this conversation as well. Upon hearing the mention of a thank you gift, Yuno looks back at Rina, who was waving her hands left and right. Despite understanding that she didn't need the gift, Yuno continued the call at her own pace. Thank you, Oni-chan. I'm sorry to bother you after work. No problem. It's not a burden at all. Oh, could you ask her what she likes? I get her something she likes. She mentioned she likes sweets. Since she seems to be into gaming, something easy to snack on would probably be appreciated. Got it. Well, I'm heading into the store now, so I'll talk to you later. Let Oni-san know that your brother will be back soon. Understood. Take care and come back safely. Haha, thanks. Good job on finishing school today. Yeah, see you later. All right. After responding to Haruto's final words and ending the call, Yuno turns to Rina. So, that was Oni-chan. He seems really easygoing, but you didn't have to worry about me so much, you know. Well, that's just how our parents raised us. Moo. Upon hearing that, anyone would find it hard to argue back. Despite showing a slight resistance, Rina raises her hands in surrender. Well, even so, it's really surprising to hear that the Oni-chan I heard over the phone isn't well liked. It just doesn't seem like you are talking about the same person. He's really the same person as you heard over the phone, and I agree that it doesn't suit him. When he does his streams, he always needs a kind of script. A script? It's not as formal as one used in theater, but it's like lines he can use, like aggressive remarks, depending on the situation. Wow. I see. That makes sense. At that moment, Rina unconsciously places a hand over her mouth, as if to chew on the surprise and agitation she felt. But I understand now why Oni-chan chose something that doesn't match his personality. After hearing about the tough environment from Rina and Ain, I realized that he must have thought long and hard about how to survive as a streamer in his own way. It just makes me respect him even more. Hey, with that kind of personality, I bet your Oni-chan is thinking of using the money he earns from streaming for your education. Ahaha, I'll make sure to remind him not to push himself too hard. Yeah, you two are a wonderful siblings. Words escaped from Rina before she could process them. Just listening to their stories and observing their interactions made her smile. And now, knowing the person whom Yuno respects so much, Rina, who was about 80% sure of Yuno's brother's identity, could hardly wait to meet him. She had been checking the clock repeatedly, anxiously waiting for what felt like dozens of minutes, and then, after what felt like an eternity of waiting, as soon as the front door opened. Oh, thank you so much for taking care of you. No? Wow. You're the guy from the cafe? They met face to face, revealing that this wasn't their first encounter after all. Section. After finishing their cheerful greetings at the entrance, they gathered in the living room around an extravagant spread of meals that they definitely wouldn't be able to finish in one sitting. Why you really invited an incredible person over. You even cooked with her. She really does have 700,000 subscribers. Haruto, who was informed beforehand, and Yuno, who had quickly looked Rina up on her phone, faced Rina with awe. I only reached 700,000 subscribers just yesterday. But outside of streaming, I'm just a regular girl, so I'd be happy if you could treat me normally. Especially you, Yuno-chan. You were doing great just a while ago. I understand. Thanks to Rina's easygoing demeanor and friendly personality, the atmosphere lightened up. However, one must wonder how her popularity affects her daily life. Haruto, who knew the extent of Rina's influence and achievements, could only tremble as he held his chopsticks. But I still can't believe that the person who helped you was Rina-san. It's unbelievable. I was surprised to think that Yuno-chan's Oni-san was the kind cafe staff who helped me a while ago. I'm also shocked that Oni-chan knew about Rina and Ain. At first, none of them could grasp the situation immediately, Only now had the conversation begun to unfold. It seems you fixed my Imto's bike chain. Rina-san, are your hands okay? You didn't get hurt, did you? Not at all. After I washed my hands, they were as clean as they were before. That's a relief. Haruto could only feel relieved at her response. For a game streamer, especially a professional gamer, injuring their hands would be troublesome for their activities. As a game streamer on a similar level himself, this was something Haruto couldn't help but worry about. Oni-chan, Rina and Ain came to help me and didn't mind getting her hands dirty at all. Ah really? Hearing that, it feels like her thank you gifts aren't enough. No, 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 no. They're more than enough, seriously. Haruto had bought 2 thank you gifts, a box of assorted chocolates and a box of assorted cookies. Generally, that would be considered a lot, but expressions of gratitude vary from person to person. Besides, just cooking together with Oni-chan felt like a thank you gift already. I rarely get the chance to cook with someone else. I feel the same way. So, I'd be happy if I could cook together with Rina and Ain again. Really? I'm glad to hear you say that. Rina clasped her hands together, her cheeks softening into an expression that matched her words. Then why don't we cook at my place next time? I'll give you my contact information too. Really? I'd actually like to ask that of you. Thank you so much. Rina-san, my Imto isn't the type to cause any trouble, so if you could, please take care of her. Haruto was banned from the kitchen because he might cause a fire due to his carelessness, so he couldn't replace Rina in this regard. He bowed deeply, showing his gratitude. Wait, you're not coming along, Oni-san? I'd be happy if you could try the food we make. I'm glad to hear you say that, but wouldn't it be a huge problem if it got out that a guy visited Rina-san's home? Not to mention, wouldn't it be troublesome for you to reveal your home location to me? Well, if I invited you over one-on-one and it got leaked, no explanation would hold up, but if Oni-chan is with you, it's no problem at all. The professional gaming team Rina belonged to, Axis Crown, didn't prohibit relationships. Even if there were misunderstandings, it wouldn't affect the team, or rather, any impact would primarily be on her channel. Since she could deal with the consequences of her own actions, she was able to make this decision. Besides, even if you know where I live, I don't think Oni-san would cause any trouble. Huh? Haruto's eyes widen at this statement. Seeing his surprised expression, Rina quickly adds an explanation. I might look flashy, but it's not like I'm usually this lax with people. I judged that it was okay based on the kind service I received from you at that time, and also because I heard various things from others. Both Yuno and Haruto are trustworthy individuals. If she didn't feel that way, she wouldn't have invited them to her home. Despite Rina appearing carefree, she's meticulously aware of the risks involved when working in the industry, having heard about them in detail from her agency. Rina and Ain, keep what we talked about today is a secret, okay? Hee. Got it. Did you really praise me that much? Oni-chan, I said it's a secret, so it's uncool of you to keep pressing. Well, can't you cut me some slack? It sounds like something to be happy about. You know, if I cut you some slack, I feel like I'll lose. Hey, considering she's in her high school years, it's understandable that she's not very straightforward with her feelings. However, thinking back to how Yuno said she tends to be harsh on her brother, Rina couldn't help but suppress a laugh seeing the contrast between her behavior now and how openly she was sharing her feelings earlier. Yuno might have her tsundere moments, but she only adopts this attitude towards her one and only family member, Haruto. Rina and Ain, this sesame sauce you made is quite good, right? The simmered food is also pretty good, so try it. Oh, but Oni-san, you should eat more. You've just finished work, so you should eat plenty to regain your energy. Ahaha. Well then, don't mind me. Itadakimasu. Thanks to the gentle encouragement, Haruto finds it easier to pick up his chopsticks. At this moment, Yuno reaches out her hand. Here, Oni-chan. Let me serve you. Thank you. It's nothing. Hee. I sometimes feel like I'm being too harsh on Oni-chan. It's really shameful. That's the true feeling Yuno expressed earlier. It seemed that she reflected on her earlier attitude and wanted to show genuine kindness where she could. I was curious about this. Does Oni-san and Yuno-chan ever fight? I can't really picture it. Now that you mention it, we haven't had any real fights for a long time. Yu always hits me with solid logic, so we don't really argue. PFFT. Do you mess up that much, Oni-san? That's right, Rina and Ain. He's really awful. With a strong voice, Yuno entered the conversation smoothly. He often forgets to let me know where he is, which worries me, and when left to his own devices, he always overworks himself. Lately, he's been staying up late and even lying about it. Oh my. After hearing this, it was clear how peaceful their relationship was, leaving no room for any other response. Couldn't you cut your brother some slack just this once? You'd get carried away if I did. And that's generally how it goes. By the way, Rina-san, your cooking is also really good. Hi. Thank you. On top of how just receiving this kind of feedback made her happy, Rina appreciated Haruto's way of adding also when complimenting her cooking. As proof, there was another person subtly showing a satisfied expression. So the power balance between Yuno-chan and Oni-san is 100-0? Usually, you could say that. But when I've done something wrong, like hiding a cold or an injury, he comes back at me 10 times harder. Oh, I see. Just between us, it even feels like he wants to hit me for it. I see. After dinner, let's go to the police, Oni-san. Oh, come on. You're saying things that aren't true. Muttering to himself, Haruto wore an exasperated yet amused smile. Of course, Rina understood that Yuno was just joking. Since he's usually gentle when Oni-chan gets angry, he's really scary, so please be careful, Rina and Ain. I don't think I'll find him as scary as Yuno-chan does. Huh? I'm sure he's that way because he cares about you, right, Oni-san? Ha ha ha. I can say this here, but I don't want you to have a hard time. I've already been relying on her too much and burdening her with chores and part-time jobs. Even though Haruto hasn't had any alcohol, he feels comfortable expressing himself to Rina, who listens without teasing him. Why, you're such an idiot. Even though you're the one who's been through more, I'm a healthy young man, so I'll be fine. I have way more stamina than you know. After all, I really hate that theory that people make. Don't be like that. Hee. Haruto and Rina laughed together as they watched Yuno effortlessly speak her mind. How many times has this happened already? Listening to this heartwarming exchange where they support each other, Rina decides to take one step further. Sorry for changing the subject completely, but Oni-san, you do streaming just like me, right? When I talked with Yuno-chan about games, she mentioned it, so could you tell me more? Well, I do stream, but it's nothing to brag about. Haruto remains unfazed by this topic, as Yuno is unaware of the workings of his Oni-chan channel. If he ever needs to tell her, he always provides only the bare minimum information, and when he says it's nothing to brag about, it's because he adopts a streaming style that has mixed reviews and isn't something he's proud of. Oh, don't worry. I'm not prying or anything. Haha, that's a relief. The reason I asked is because I'm interested in other people's streaming setups. I thought it would be nice if you could show me yours if it's okay. Oh, sure, that's no problem at all. It's not anything special, but you're welcome to see it. Really, thank you. How about after we finish eating? Of course. Could I have a little time then? I want to tidy up the room a bit. Sure, that's totally fine. With a pleasant smile, Rina smoothly negotiates her request. While Rina's interest in other people's streaming setups is genuine, this serves as an excuse, one that Yuno seems to have caught on and acted accordingly. In that case, I'll just relax in the living room for a bit. There are a few shows I'd like to watch. Since they had been talking about an invitation to an event earlier, she wanted to create an opportunity for them to be alone. But Haruto was as perceptive as ever. He immediately noticed the strangeness in prioritizing the TV over the guest she was supposed to be grateful for and recognized that it wasn't like Yuno to act this way. You don't need to worry so much. Want to join us, Yu? It's not like that. Oh, and just because the two of you are alone doesn't mean you can do anything weird to Rina and Ain. If I hear any screams, I'll report it immediately. I obviously wouldn't do anything like that, right? Anisanichi. Stop it. You don't say weird things. Rina is exceptionally skilled in this kind of banter. With a smirk on her face and a hand covering her mouth, Haruto involuntarily blushes. The lively atmosphere of the meal becomes even more lively than before. After enjoying a delightful dinner together. You've got a pretty nice computer and mouse. Oh, and that mic. It's from a famous brand, isn't it? With how popular streaming is nowadays, I figured that a higher quality setup would help me get an edge, no matter how little. Hey, Haruto, who had hidden his top secret script inside his closet, kept his promise and guided Rina to his streaming room. I also think that these kind of things matter. Many viewers are accustomed to the good microphones of famous streamers. Having a bad microphone can immediately put people off. Some viewers can get turned off just by the computer freezing. It's reassuring to hear you say that. I feel like the money spent was worth it. Since I do voice-only streams, I'm particularly picky about my mic. Haruto and Rina were both among those who analyzed the streaming market to find opportunities to grow their subscriber count. You could say they shared a similar sense of these things. But, even though you put so much thought into it, it's so like you not to care about things unrelated to streaming like the desk and chair. Feels like the few tens of thousands of yen here went into Oni-chan's future, right? Ahaha, I'll leave that to your imagination. I see. Haruto gave a wry smile and glossed over the words, so Rina quickly caught on. Well, if you ever plan to do longer streams, you should pay more attention to the chair. If you want, I can even gift you one. No. If I were to accept such kindness, you would get mad at me. Hi. Then I guess it can't be helped. Yes, I'll just accept the sentiment. To be honest, he did want to take her up on the offer, but Rina was Yuno's benefactor. This was a time to politely decline. Moreover, for Haruto, the priority of a chair wasn't that high. He had no regrets for turning it down. Besides, I'm still relatively young in the streaming world, so I haven't had any issues with back pain yet. By the way, how old are you, Ani-san? You look like you're in your early 20s. I'm 20. Huh? You're 2 years younger than me? You're really young. I'm not that different from you, Rina-san. I mean, having 700,000 subscribers at 22 is just incredible. By analyzing the market and creating the best persona he believed in, it took him a year to reach 100,000 subscribers. It was only because of a certain incident that he could even reach 200,000. That's where Haruto stands now. To catch up, he would have to more than triple his number within 2 years. It's still a number to be proud of at this age. But recently, there's an Abex streamer who has been growing with intense momentum. There's no time to relax. If you stream Abex, you must know, right? The toxic streamer who goes by the name Oni-chan the Syscon. That person. Hearing this name from Rina's mouth, Haruto wanted to correct her. Oni-chan the Syscon was a separate name born from the streaming incident, but he was originally known Oni-chan the toxic streamer. However, Haruto let it slide. Some might argue that as a fellow streamer, he could reveal his identity. However, since his livelihood depends on his channel, and considering the controversial nature of his streaming style, he has to be cautious. Well, I do know about him, but his growth is not as impressive as yours. Oh, really? Yeah, definitely. His reputation is too bad, and besides, he's just a really awful person. Even though you're a kind Ani-san, you're really hard on Oni-chan. That's because his growth was a result of a streaming incident. There's no doubt that people will eventually get tired of talking about it and the current momentum will eventually stagnate. Or at least that is what I predict. He spoke the truth. Everything he said made sense to him based on his understanding of the streaming market. As someone who also studies the streaming market, he was sure that she would agree with him. With these thoughts in mind, Haruto confidently expressed himself, feeling relieved. However, he soon realized he had jumped to conclusions too quickly. Just as Yuno-chan said, you do have some blind spots. Ani-san? What do you mean? If you're tidying up this room, you should probably hide that thing, shouldn't you? With a grin, Rina points to a certain object displayed on the shelf. It's a precious silver play button awarded for reaching over 100,000 subscribers, with the channel name engraved on it. In a panic, Haruto begins to clumsily hide the silver shield, but it's already too late. With this, I can totally see you being involved in a streaming incident. Right, Oni-chan? What are you talking about? That's not me. Then can you show me the name on that award again? No. He shakes his head with all his strength, determined to prevent her from seeing it. Then how about you start up that PC and let me check the Abex account? No, I can't. I know that Ayaki and Oni-chan are in contact with each other, so there are other ways to check. You might as well give in since you're already caught, Oni-chan. With a smile, Rina takes a step closer, then another, continuing in a cheerful tone. Well, it's an honor to meet the man himself. Seriously. And she extends her hand for a handshake. He lowers his gaze to her delicate hand, then lifts it back up to her face. Haruto desperately tries to come up with some excuse in his mind, but it's futile. Nothing comes to mind. He knows better than anyone that there's no way to escape the situation. Well, yes. I'm really happy to hear that from you, Rina-san. He surrenders sincerely. He takes her outstretched hand, feeling embarrassed as he returns her words. To be honest, before I learned about the streaming incident, I was like, what's up with this Oni-chan guy I keep hearing about? Well, I think that's only natural. Yes. Well, when you consider that 80% to 90% of players in the game are male, and if same-gender streamers want to make numbers, they need to have a strong presence. Especially if you're not a Vtuber or doing facecam streams. I started streaming normally at first, but as expected. Yeah, I get it. If streaming blindly and gaining subscribers worked, Rina wouldn't bother with trying to analyze the market. She wouldn't bother creating a persona either. Sorry about that. I've been holding your hand for quite a while. Man, guys' hands really are bony and big, huh? Does it feel uncomfortable compared to other men's? No. It's about the same. That's a relief. I was worried it might feel weird if it was unusually rough or something. Haha. Don't worry, it's just a normal hand. Thank you. Rina's persona was so convincing that Haruto naturally assumed that she had plenty of romantic experience to answer such a question. Give me a moment. I remembered that I wanted to tell you something important but forgot what it was. It's okay. You can tell me when you remember. I remembered. I remembered now. There's something I absolutely wanted to ask Oni-chan about today. Having decided that she wanted to talk about it before, Rina quickly steered the conversation towards the main topic. Are you aware of the tournament happening next month for streamers? It's called the Ebi Festival. Yes. Of course, I'm aware of that. If I asked you to participate in that tournament, would you consider it? It's not confirmed yet, but as a team with me and Ayaki. At that moment, Haruto's mind goes blank. Being labeled as a toxic streamer, he had never been invited to such a tournament before. No, it was only natural that he wasn't invited. Such an unreachable event, where fellow streamers gather, have fun, and engage with viewers, was naturally something he admired. Furthermore, he could also fight alongside two players belonging to the prestigious pro team, Axis Crown. It's understandable to need some time to process everything. I am sorry. This is not a joke, is it? I've never had such an opportunity before, so it's hard to believe that I'm actually being invited. Of course, I'm serious, so don't worry. And having Oni-chan there would definitely make the tournament more exciting. No doubt about that. Thank you so much. If it's not too much trouble for you and the others, I'd love to participate. Great. In that case, you should be getting a message from the organizers soon. I look forward to working with you. We'll also need to discuss Oni-chan's behavior during the tournament too. Got it. Seeing Haruto's eyes sparkle with joy, Rina feels genuinely happy. She's glad she invited him. Thank you so much, Rina-san. Why yeah. And with that, Rina extends her hand once again, seeking another handshake. In response, Rina's hand was enveloped by both of Haruto's large hands. It's really amazing, the amount of influence you have. I wish I could say that. But I was just being selfish. This was also the reason I wanted to see you. I think her consciousness drifts toward the sensation of her hand. Really? Well, with Oni-chan's momentum and good impression lately, it would be a shame if he didn't participate. Probably, her attention is now entirely focused on the sensation of her hand. Rina hears an imaginary sound of her carefully crafted experienced person persona cracking. So, that's that. As she nervously tries to pull her hand away as if seeking help, she hears a surprised from the person in front of her. Then her right hand, which was engulfed in his strong grip, is released. Normally, Rina would continue with a fist bump, according to her character, but because she's not used to having her hand held like this, she feels like her heart might leap out of her mouth. Interlude 1. How many hours had they spent in this house? Thank you so much for today. I was planning to just say a quick hello and leave, but ended up staying really late. Oh no, not at all. Instead, thank you for visiting us. It was fun. Right, yeah, please come visit us anytime. Rina and Ain. Hee. Thank you. As she was being politely seen off to the entrance by Haruto and Yuno, Rina exchanged her final farewells with them. Oh, right. Since we exchanged contacts, feel free to send me a message anytime. That goes for you too, Ana-san. Haha, got it. If you ever have any trouble or concerns about streaming, you can rely on me. Despite how I look, I'm good at keeping secrets, so don't worry. That's reassuring, Rina-san. If the time comes, I'll be counting on you. Okay. With that, Rina had conveyed everything she wanted to say. I really wanted to chat more, though, since she had already stayed far beyond expected. She felt it was best not to impose any further. Despite the reluctance to leave, she decided it was best to wrap things up quickly. It's getting quite late. I should get going soon. Before you go, take this as a thank you for today. Mochi, rice cake. Rina Ani-san, if you don't mind, could you send us a message when you get home? It's quite dark outside, so we're a bit worried. Wow, you two really say the nicest things. I'll make sure to message you as soon as I get home. Well then, bye-bye. After responding to Yuno's words, she waved her hand and said goodbye, slowly making her way home. Just before turning the corner of the walkway, she waved once more to the siblings who were still seeing her off and murmured softly as she entered their blind spot. That was fun. I can't believe it's already this late. When she glanced at the watch on her left wrist, she saw that it had turned 10 p.m. It was already too late to start a stream. Time really flies when you're enjoying yourself. Even so, to think that Yuno-chan's Oni-chan is the staff I met at the cafe and that he's actually Oni-chan. Even if we live in the same area, it's quite a coincidence. Furthermore, she thought, being able to meet Yuno-chan and Oni-chan, I'm glad I stopped by. She made a new cooking friend. She was able to meet the streamer she was curious about. She had such a fun time that she lost track of time. In addition to that, I could really feel that he's the same person Ayaki talked about. It's clear as day. His toxic persona just doesn't suit him at all. It was difficult to defend someone who used trash talking as a weapon in their streams, but Rina's impression of Haruto, aka Oni-chan, was still a genuinely good person. Even though her sister is going through her rebellious phase, she still holds him in such high regard. After hearing the whole story, Rina could see how Yuno ended up like this. If only Ana-san could help Yuno-chan let off some steam a bit more, she might still be more open. That's what Rina thought after today's conversation. Yuno, who was grateful for her brother, found herself unable to repay his kindness. For every favor she tried to return, he seemed to pile on more at a pace she couldn't match. This made it hard for her to keep up, to stick to her plans, and ultimately made her unable to be straightforward. It's enough already. I can't keep repaying your kindness at this rate, so please stop. Probably something like that. Rina also went through a rebellious phase, one of which she wasn't proud of. Exchanging contact information with the siblings was not only to fulfill her own desire to cook together with Yuno in the future but also to create opportunities to help her release her pent-up feelings instead of Haruto. Even though she had just met Yuno today, she found her so likable that she almost wanted to meddle in her affairs. I guess this is how Oni-san feels watching her grow up. Coming to this conclusion felt as satisfying as fitting the final piece of a puzzle. I can understand why Ayaki would fall for him. As she held the paper bag containing the thank you gift in one hand, in the other hand, the one that Haruto had clasped with both of his hands, she repeatedly clenched and unclenched her fist, recalling the sensation from that moment. Just like Yuno-chan, Ayaki probably experienced unexpected kindness from him or something. Being experienced was just a facade created to establish her persona. In reality, Ayaki, who attended an all-girls school, had a level of experience that was just as comparable to Yuno's, to the point where even holding hands could have an impact. I hope someday I can talk to Oni-san naturally. I want to interact with him without any barriers. Ideally, she wanted to become even closer, and get to know him better. If only I had discovered the cafe sooner, I could have gotten to know him earlier. Thinking about this was pointless and only made her feel a sense of regret. I wonder if I'll be able to sleep tonight. Seriously, unconsciously, she found herself thinking only about Haruto. The more she tried to focus, the more she couldn't help but be aware of his rough and large hands. Is it possible for a 22-year-old woman to be so susceptible? She twirled her hair with her index finger, wearing an indescribable expression as she voiced her anxiety. At this moment, Rina, who was usually seen as experienced, was momentarily neglecting the crisis where her facade could easily crumble. Chapter 3, Consultation and Streaming. It had been a little over a week since Haruto and Rina's encounter on a weekday. It was just as Aya was about to review a video of her participation in an Abex scrim at home. She turned pale as she glanced at the notification that popped up on her smartphone's schedule app. With each passing second, Aya broke out in a cold sweat. At that moment, she remembered something that had completely slipped her mind, and feeling cornered, there was only one thing she could do. She knew that the best course of action was to consult with someone. Understanding this, Aya wasted no time in taking action. Praying for a quick response, she sends the message and stares at the screen, waiting anxiously. She remained seated on the sofa in a girlish posture, motionless, since she would receive a notification when the reply arrived. There was no point in waiting. It was quite an inefficient use of time, but it just showed how desperate she was for help. Aya exclaimed with a bright voice. 7 minutes later, seeing the reply, okay, you can call anytime, she immediately dialed the number. The person she relied on was none other than Rina-san. Rina-san, I'm really sorry to suddenly call you like this. Nah, it's fine. I was just killing time, so it's no big deal. She's none other than her dependable senpai, Rina. Oh, yeah. Good job for the scrim the other day. Even though it wasn't the real thing, thanks to you, we ranked 3rd overall. Thank you. That reminds me, it might be premature, but we're having a victory party, right? Nahi, it's Chio-san's treat. After all, let's eat like there's no tomorrow, okay? Yeah. Celebration for good performance. That's the policy of Chio, their teammate and the owner of Axis Crown. Although it was just a practice match, thanks to the Scrim Organization Committee, it was also a streamed tournament that attracted a lot of viewers. Taking into account the fact that they were able to further promote the team's name, they were treated to a feast. Well, let's get back on track. So, what's up today? You said you wanted to consult me about something. Seeing an opportunity, Rina smoothly transitioned to the main topic of the call. Aya, feeling timid, hesitantly spoke up. Well, it's embarrassing to ask, but when you hang out with a guy alone, what kind of places are good, huh? What kind of places are good when spending time with a guy alone? Aya herself knew that it was a sudden and completely random topic. Despite feeling flustered, she reiterated it loudly. Hey. So, does that mean that Ayaki is going on a date with someone? We're just going to go hang out. To explain briefly, things happened and the other party wanted to thank me, so I invited him to hang out together. That sounds like a date. The other person doesn't see it as a date, so it's not like that. Is that so? That's how it is. Despite her firm denial, Aya was secretly considering this to be a date. By the way, Do you have a set date for the date? No. It's not officially decided yet, but I have this selfish desire to make it as soon as possible. Hi, that makes sense. Some might argue, if it's not officially decided, there's no need to rush, but stalling could lead to a situation where the other party forgets. For Aya, who really wants to go on this date, that's something she absolutely wants to avoid. Well, there are two things I want to say. First, it's better to plan important events sooner. It's really unlike Ayaki to make such a big mistake. Why yeah. Lately, I've been so busy with work that it slipped my mind. Aya had a lot on her plate, juggling university, collaborations for projects, scrim sessions, and more. If she continued to neglect her date plans, it would only add to her future workload and inconvenience those around her. As both a streamer and a pro, Aya was aware of this and tried to avoid thinking about it as much as possible. However, this was the result of her efforts. And the second thing I want to say, especially since it's more of my concern, but Ayaki, are you sure you're consulting the right person? I mean, I seriously have no experience with dating, so when I give advice, it's like picking up stuff from the internet, just like when I'm streaming. It's totally fine. I've seen viewers tweet, "Thanks to getting advice from Rina-san, the date was a success." Well, if you think it's okay, then sure. Viewers somewhat blindly trust Rina's words, thinking she's someone with a lot of dating experience, but Aya knows Rina's secret. So, they're essentially taking advice from someone who hasn't been in a relationship. It's natural for Rina to worry about giving advice. Then, shall we brainstorm date plans together? I'll bring my laptop, so just wait a moment. Thank you. Consider this as a thank you for sharing your thoughts on the date. Got it? I'll bring my laptop too. Sure thing. After this exchange, they both placed their laptops on their knees and began discussing date plans. As expected, they hit a roadblock when it came to the destination. Where should they go as the main attraction? After exchanging various opinions for about 10 minutes, it was Rina's words that broke through. Oh, come to think of it, wouldn't the aquarium be the best choice by far? According to online sources, it naturally brings people closer. It's easy to invite someone for lunch or dinner afterward, and it's easy to have conversations about the surroundings. It seems like a safe bet. Wow, that's true. An aquarium sounds really nice. I want to go to the aquarium. Hee. Then ask your date if they're interested in fish, and if they say yes, we'll go to the aquarium. While there were suggestions like theme parks or amusement parks, they were put on hold due to worries about what to do if conversations stopped flowing. Just the absence of this worry alone naturally raised the priority of the aquarium. They say for a first date, it's best to keep it to about half a date and not make it too tiring, so you two could meet around noon, do some quick shopping, head to the aquarium, have lunch, and then part ways. That flow seems like the best, don't you think? Arina-san, to get all those suggestions from you, what should we do? Honestly, it feels unfair that I have to help you plan your date. Don't tease me like that. Hee, just kidding. You're free to do as you please. With a mocking laugh, Rina responded to Aya, who let out a feeble voice. After all, if she didn't want to help, she wouldn't have agreed to this in the first place. I hope you have fun on your date with Oni-chan. Yeah, if it goes wrong, I'll come over to your place and have you comfort me. Rina-san. Well, if it's Haruto-san, I think you'll be just fine. After a moment of silence to gather her thoughts, Aya finally realizes something. Huh? Her surprised voice breaks the silence. Rina-san, why do you know Oni-chan's name? It's actually a crazy coincidence, but I had the chance to visit Oni-chan's place. I met his cute Timto-san too. Why are things progressing so much? I haven't even met Timto-san yet. Just ask Oni-chan for the details. It's good that you have another topic to talk about, right? Well, yeah, but certainly, having more topics to discuss is a good thing. But what Aya feels more strongly than that is anxiety. Aya has undoubtedly known Haruto for a longer period of time, yet here's Rina, who has visited his house and met his cherished little sister already. PFFT, there's no need to feel so uneasy. Ayaki, You're the one going on a date. Arena-san, you're not aiming for him or anything, right? If I were, I wouldn't be willing to help give you advice. Besides, I'm the type who's too scared to even think about romance, let alone do anything physical. You're really not aiming for him, right? I'm not. After confirming twice and hearing the response twice, Aya finally feels relieved. She knows just how wonderful Rina is. To become a rival to such a person is indeed a daunting prospect. Hey, what did you think of Haruto-san when you met him? Rina-san. Well, he's a really wonderful person. I could tell why Ayaki would be interested in him. I see. To have someone you're interested in praised like that tickles her heart, and it's even more meaningful when it comes from someone as wonderful as Rina. While Aya basks in the happy atmosphere, her mind quickly returns to rational thinking. Then, if that's your impression, you're definitely aiming for him, right? If you think I'm aiming for him, then you better make sure the date goes well, Ayaki! I'm praying for your success, you know. Hearing that somewhat smug voice, Aya imagines the day of the actual date and nervously responds, why yes. Well, if you're that tense, you won't last until the actual day. Naturally, Aya gets teased by Rina, as usual. That night. Hey, I'm on a roll right now. I'm doing so well, I feel like I can do something crazy. Haruto, also known as Oni-chan, was streaming a solo session of Ibex, firing bullets into the sky as he raced through the battlefield. Comments: stop doing that, you'll give away your position lol. Comments: did you forget what happened last time SMH? Comments: that's why you can't win, idiot. Comments: at least heal up all the way first lol. Who cares? Oh, maybe that was a bit much. As he continued to shoot aimlessly, Oni-chan let out a rather pitiful voice. As a result of getting too absorbed, the amount of ammo left in his primary weapon had dwindled from 210 rounds to just 30. With that few bullets left, it would be impossible to take down enemies if he missed even a few shots. While it was his own actions that led to this situation, honestly, it was quite a nerve-wracking predicament. In order to regain his composure, he glanced at the steady stream of comments. Nice ammo count lol. Comments: how does one even miss that? Comments: you really are a klutz. Comments: I think I understand Imto-san's struggles now. Especially with moments like these, they quickly found something to tease him about. Hey, who are you calling a klutz? And my Imto has nothing to do with this. The one topic Oni-chan absolutely didn't want anyone to mention was anything related to his sister. I did this on purpose, you know. Just watch. These bullets are more than enough for what the server can handle. Comments: press X to doubt. Comments: well, good luck. Comments: if you have time to talk, go loot some supplies, genius. Comments: what kind of top-tier gameplay am I looking at lol? While picking up more ammo was an option, Oni-chan valued the entertainment aspect of his streams just as much. Doing that would kill the excitement. The best way to entertain the viewers is to take down enemies with what he has and immediately loot their supplies. Since he's playing in the highest rank, the opponents are naturally strong. There's no way to win while messing around. All right then. As if flipping a switch, Oni-chan changed his playful tone to a serious one while healing up. Comments: it's Oni-chan's serious mode. Comments: you should just stay like this all the time lol. Comments: my clip button is ready. Comments: show us what you got. Sensing that he was about to get serious, the flow of comments suddenly sped up. Yeah, watch closely. This is gonna be highlight worthy. Just as he glanced at the comments and raised his voice to pump himself up, a dull thud of a bullet hitting him was heard. Then, the sharp sound of a shot followed, and the words "game over" appeared on the screen. Huh? An inexplicable event. He quickly checked the death log to understand the cause. A headshot from a Kraber, the sniper rifle with the highest damage in the game. It was an unreasonable one-shot kill. As he stared at the screen in stunned silence, the comments flowed even faster. Comments: LOL. Comments: F. Comments: seriously, what was that lol? Comments: this is what happens when you give away your position. Again. Comments: serves you right lol. Both fans and critics were in high spirits. While this turn of events was beneficial from a streamer's perspective, for Oni-chan, who had just switched to serious mode and was ready to fight earnestly. It was frustrating. He slammed the desk in frustration and was sent to the start screen. All right. I think I'm done for now. Let's just talk for the rest of the stream. Comments, someone's in a bad mood. Comments, cute lol. Comments, that's what you get for doing that lmao. Comments, classic Kraber moment lol. True to the comments, Oni-chan was feeling a bit deflated. Although it wasn't part of the plan, he decided to use the rest of his time to keep the conversation going until he regained his momentum. Come on, feel free to ask me anything. He focused on the chat scrolling on the monitor, picking out the comments and tips. Let's see. First one. I'm rooting for you. Keep up the good work with your streams and your 6 days a week job. If you're willing to pay 5,000 yen for that, at least ask me something. I'm waiting. Anyways, I've remembered your name. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the regular chat. I'll respond accordingly. Comments. He's embarrassed lol. Comments, someone's happy. Comments, his private life is totally exposed lol. Comments, seriously, this guy's living such a busy life. Oni-chan had already exposed quite a lot during the streaming incident, but what was truly fortunate was that no personal information that could lead to him being doxxed had leaked. Next up, I've been here since the beginning. So what? Come on, ask me something too. Well, anyway, thanks as always. I remember when I won, you were always spamming 8,888,888 in the chat. I know that. Comments, he knew lol. Comments, I don't know why, but I'm kinda jealous. Comments, surprisingly, Oni-chan remembers the viewers' names. Comments, that's definitely not in character lmao. Oni-chan knew the value of money better than anyone else. He made an effort to remember the names of viewers who sent him donations in the chat. And next, this is for Imto-san. Huh. Well, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'll buy a cream puff with that. I'll post a photo of it on Twitter, so go ahead and check it out. Comments, we don't need a proof of purchase lol. Comments, you're the only one who goes to the trouble of providing evidence. Comments, he says that but he's gonna then eat it himself. Comments, doesn't seem like something he would do lol. Ignoring the comments from viewers who seem to see through him, Oni-chan continues this for about 6 minutes. Finally, an actual question arrives. Will you be participating in the Ebi festival next month? Well, I didn't get anything from the organizers. While everyone's having a good time, I'll just grab some food or something. This is something that must be kept confidential. It's still something I'm not supposed to reveal to anyone. His response was also written in his script in advance to avoid any slip-ups. Comments, well, that's to be expected lol. Comments, you reap what you sow. Comments, well, I wish he would participate though. Comments, even with 200,000 subscribers, I guess invitations aren't that easy to get, huh? There's no need to respond to the first 2 comments. Oni-chan has always known that he wouldn't get invited, but it's oddly heartening to see comments expressing disappointment. Let's say I decided to participate, would you guys cheer me on? Comments, nope. Comments, not happening. Comments, no way. Comments, you're asking for a bit too much. Where did those kind comments from earlier disappear to? Instead, there's a long line of rejections. It's truly baffling how the viewers can switch gears like this, and it stings to see such a contrast from before. Alright, let's move on. Next question. It's already decided behind the scenes that he'll participate in the festival. To avoid slipping up, he changes the topic. Have you been hanging out with girls lately? That's a bit of a different question from usual. It's something he doesn't usually get asked, so he can't help but wonder if everyone's interested. Comments, come to think of it, we haven't asked about you, Oni-chan. Comments, finally, something I'm interested in lol. Comments, you sound like you've got that handsome vibe. Comments, hurry up and answer. How much interest do you guys have in my real life stuff? Being interested is definitely better than not being interested. While hiding this joy, Oni-chan answers honestly. Well, about that last question, I haven't been on any dates or anything lately. Seriously, he could have easily lied to save face, but considering it's a question he received after someone generously sent money, He believes it's important to answer honestly and stick to his principles. Comments, haha. Comments, not even once. Comments, are you serious lol? Comments, not popular in real life huh? As expected, the comments roll in. Hey, hold on a second. You guys are making fun of me, but honestly, how many of you have been in the same boat as me? Come on, be honest. Comments, I've actually been on a date. Comments, I hung out with someone yesterday. Comments, went on a double date just the other day. Comments, I hung out with someone a year ago. He checks the comments scrolling on the monitor, noticing that many seem to have more experience than he expected. Huh? Are you guys serious about this? You're definitely lying. Hold on. Let me do a quick poll. Using MooTube's poll feature, he sets up a poll asking viewers if they've ever hung out with someone of the opposite sex, with options for yes and no. The result, 80% have hung out with someone, while 20% haven't. There was an overwhelming difference. Wait, is this real? He couldn't help but speak in his natural tone. He rubs his eyes and checks again, but there's no mistaking it. Comments, you're seriously cute. Oni-chan lol. Comments, probably just too busy to hang out, right? Comments, so Oni-chan's on DT? Comments, DT Ilma. Comments, Doutai, lol. Note, DT in Japanese stands for Doutai, which means male virgin. And then, the worst possible flow arises. Comments flood in, mocking him relentlessly, a situation he absolutely didn't want to find himself in. I'm done with today's stream. Their words hit home. He's convinced that continuing the stream would only invite further mockery. With his farewell, Oni-chan swiftly ends the stream. Comments, lol. Comments, he ran away Elmo. Comments, guess we hit a soft spot. Comments, Oni-chan, you're a funny guy. Even after ending the stream, the number of viewers doesn't decrease, and the comments section continues to overflow with mockery, beyond what he can keep up with. With his face buried in his hands, Haruto exhales a sigh as if trying to escape embarrassment. Just a little bit left until his time with Aya. At this moment, Haruto finds himself oddly conscious, and soon after, clips of the incident are uploaded all over the internet, and Oni-chan's Twitter gets flooded with chaos. Chapter 4, Date 1. 3 days later, it was the promised day. It was Saturday, the only day off for Haruto. The time was just before 1 p.m. Oni-chan, good for you. You got invited to hang out. Haha. Yeah. I'm really happy. Haruto, who was excitedly preparing to go out, and Yuno, who was working on her high school assignments in the living room, exchanged their usual friendly banter. Oni-chan, isn't this the first time in years that you're hanging out with someone other than Suzuha-chan and me? You've been focusing on your work all this time. Now that you mention it, that might be true. Just to remind you, don't get too carried away and cause any trouble for others, okay? Of course not. During this time, Haruto kept moving his hands without losing his smile. It wouldn't be strange for one to think that he's getting too excited, but for Haruto, this was natural. Since high school, he had always declined invitations to hang out, prioritizing his part-time jobs instead. Naturally, as more people caught on, this behavior led to fewer invitations. Eventually, it reached the point where he stopped being invited because he'd refuse anyways. Haruto continued such days and graduated from high school. Even after graduation, he worked hard at the cafe and started streaming games as a hobby, hoping to somehow turn it into a source of income. If he dedicated himself to streaming, even on his only day off, it couldn't be truly called a day off. Just like in high school, dedicating himself to work wouldn't be able to let him make friends to hang out with. Your enthusiastic response actually makes me worry. There is nothing to worry about. Despite his struggles, now that Haruto's streaming has gained traction, he has more leeway to hang out with others. In other words, even casual outings were precious to him. It made him feel like he was reclaiming the youth he had missed. Oni-chan, you don't need dinner tonight, right? I'll be eating out, so it's fine. Oh, and Suzuha-chan is staying over tonight, right? Yeah, but is there a problem? Did you accidentally schedule a stream for tonight? No, it's not that. I just wanted to say that tonight, feel free to order delivery or something. It'll be more fun that way. All right. I'll do that if needed. Enjoy your day off too. You don't have to tell me that. So, what time are you leaving the house? We're meeting at 2 p.m., so I plan to leave at 1:30 p.m. I want to arrive at least 15 minutes early. Then make sure to double-check your stuff before 1:30 p.m. When you're excited like this, you'll definitely forget something. Ahaha, I'll make sure to check 3 times. Yes, do that. Yuno's words may dampen Haruto's cheerful mood, but she has no intention of putting him down. It's simply her goodwill, wishing for him to fully enjoy this precious time. Of course, that sentiment comes across loud and clear. Oh, and Oni-chan, on a separate note, let's go clothes shopping together next time. Huh? Does that mean these clothes look weird? Why would you think that? Those clothes look good on you. They're simple. I'm relieved to hear that. He wears a t-shirt with a 3/4 sleeve jacket, paired with a shoulder bag, and long pants. Being tall, he looked quite presentable. It's just that you might have more chances to go out from now on, right? Since you can wear them to work too, it wouldn't hurt to have a few more sets of clothes. Got it. While we're at it, let's pick up some clothes for you as well. If it's okay, Suzuha-chan can join us too. Then let me know the date in advance. I'll contact Suzuha-chan. Okay. Haruto made a circle with his hands to respond. Seeing this, Yuno regretted making him even more excited. Oops, sorry for talking so much while you're in the middle of your assignments. It's fine. I can still work while talking. Besides, I was the one who started the conversation in the first place. Then, can I talk more? What kind of question is that? I'd like to say do as you please, but first, finish your preparations and check if you forgot anything. Yeah, I'll finish right away. Haruto must have needed something from his room, as he quickly left the living room. Looks like he's really did forget something. In the now quiet living room, Yuno sighed with a slightly exasperated look. However, she was glad that he wanted to keep the conversation going as much as possible. Hiding her indescribable feelings, she propped her chin on her hand and continued her homework, using the sounds Haruto made as background noise for a few minutes. When Haruto returned to the living room, they spent some family time together. And so, just after leaving the house, I never thought I'd really get the chance to hang out with a fellow streamer. Haruto, having finished his item check, muttered as he headed towards the meeting place at the station. Due to his unique streaming style, which he himself couldn't fully defend, he had naturally been shunned in the streaming community. I'm really happy. Even if he relaxed even a little, he felt like his face would slacken into a sloppy expression. And there is something he hadn't told Yuno. The moment he thought about what Iya had said before, he felt a tightness in his chest from the nervousness. It's over. My life is over. Why is it that the one person I consulted about my love troubles turned out to be Haruto-san? So, everything is exposed, right? Her voice was shaking, and she knew that her own face was bright red. It's not like I like Haruto-san or anything, okay? Just as I mentioned before, I'm just interested in you. Understand? In a panic, she rushed to explain. In high school, due to his family situation, he prioritized earning money. As a result, Haruto thought very little about studying and didn't have any time to think about romance. Embarrassingly, he was inexperienced and simply being told that a girl was interested in him made him conscious. When he was invited out by such a person, the word date inevitably came to mind. Anyways, I shouldn't dwell on this too much. It would be a disaster if he got ahead of himself. He took a deep breath to keep calm. I need to stay calm. With that mindset, as he approached the meeting place at the station's north exit, he found her. Aya was dressed in a beautiful outfit consisting of a white short-sleeved top, a light cardigan, and a short brown skirt. She stood with perfect posture, occasionally adjusting her bangs with her hand, despite her cute appearance drawing a lot of attention. It seemed that she was being thought of as waiting for a date by those around her. Even the pickup artist avoided Aya and caught sight of another woman to approach. So even Shirayuki-san. Though it might be a cruel analogy, seeing Aya more nervous than him somehow eased the tension in his heart and made him feel relieved. As the tension eased, He found himself naturally smiling. "All right," he whispered softly to himself as he mentally prepared himself to greet her. Once he reached the appropriate distance, he called out to her with "Shirayuki-san." Aya, who was startled, lifted her eyes to meet his. Instantly, an audible "ah" could be heard and she approached him with small steps. "Haruto-san, GGG, good afternoon. Today's weather is really nice." "Ahaha, the weather is indeed nice." It was a stiff greeting, almost like they were meeting for the first time, but it was clear how tense she was. It couldn't be helped. If the situation were reversed and he had arrived first, he might have been just as nervous. With such thoughts in mind, he continued speaking. "Sorry for making you wait." No, not at all. I just got here too." She shook her head from side to side in denial, but it was evident from her demeanor that she hadn't just arrived. While understanding that these were words meant to be received with gratitude, Haruto couldn't help but feel a bit awkward about it. "Well, that's good to hear. And thank you." Yeah." As he expressed his gratitude, Aya nodded in acknowledgement, as if she understood his intention. Perhaps feeling embarrassed about being found out, she covered her red cheeks with both hands and started fidgeting nervously. Seeing her like this only emphasized her lack of composure. Despite his unfamiliarity with the situation, Haruto tried to take the lead with her. "Hey, Shirayuki-san, how about we quickly check out some shops inside the station? It might be easier to talk that way. I'm quite nervous too." "Haha. Why you do that for me?" "Wait. Haruto-san, being nervous is definitely a lie. I can feel your composure radiating from you." "You think so? But it's true." Finding someone who was more nervous than himself undoubtedly put Haruto at ease. However, there were still aspects he couldn't conceal. As embarrassing as it was for him as a man, it was something he didn't want to reveal too much. Yet, he had realized from previous experiences that conveying his own nervousness could help ease Aya's tension. "Look." When he turned his face slightly to show one ear, Aya's eyes widened in surprise. "Why are you so red?" "Because I'm really nervous." "Even so." The contrast between your calm demeanor and your blushing face is incredible. Haruto-san, I bet you must have pinched your ears to make them red before meeting me." Hey. With a puzzled expression, Aya searched for clues, and then unexpectedly took action. She pinched her own ear with one hand and reached out to pinch Haruto's ear with the other. If his ears were red, they should feel warmer. Perhaps she was just confirming, but being touched so suddenly made his heart skip a beat. "Shirayuki-san, if you're doing that on purpose to make me nervous, I'll get you back for it, you know." Glancing sideways, their eyes met as she looked up at him. When Haruto's gaze shifted to Aya's ears, she seemed to finally realize the meaning behind his words. This, I mean, it's your fault, Haruto-san. It's natural to want to check, right? Why, you're the kind of person to do something like this." "Why, yeah." She quickly let go of his ear, stammering as she tried to explain herself. While her argument did hold some merit, it was also quite audacious. "By the way, what's Shirayuki-san verdict?" Well, I found out what you're saying was true, so I got even more nervous." Wasn't that supposed to put you at ease?" "That's just how it is." Aya had correctly deduced the answer, but she hadn't expected Haruto to suggest getting back at her. Well then, let's head into the station right away. At this rate, I can see myself constantly losing to Haruto-san." "Ahaha. I agree." Haruto-san, are we sticking to the plan I sent in the message? If there's somewhere you'd like to go, feel free to mention it." "I don't mind. No, it's totally fine. In fact, I was really looking forward to today's plan." Amidst the bustling atmosphere of the station's shopping area, the two of them engaged in a casual conversation while looking at the local confectionery store in one corner. Really? I mean, I did my best to come up with a plan, so it's not like I'm not confident about it, but still I am just a bit worried because, you know, it's my first time hanging out with a guy like this." Maybe she didn't want him to see her current expression too much, but Aya nervously expressed her thoughts while glancing at the displayed sweets. Honestly, he could understand that feeling. If he were the one inviting her, Haruto was sure he would feel the same way. With that thought in mind, Haruto came to one conclusion: to try to ease Aya's anxiety as much as possible. You really don't need to worry about anything, Shirayuki-san. You might not believe me, but if I hadn't been looking forward to today, my Imto wouldn't have warned me before leaving home. Huh? Wait. Haruto-san, your Imto-san warned you? Yeah, it's pretty embarrassing at my age, but she said something along the lines of, have fun, but don't cause any trouble. It wasn't the kind of warning you'd expect to receive at 20 years old. Although he said it in a joking manner to cover his embarrassment, it had a remarkable effect. Hearing that made me feel a bit lighter. Seeing her soft smile as if a weight had been lifted off her shoulders. When someone opens up like this, it feels genuinely rewarding to have spoken up. Sorry about that. Thanks for letting me know. I really think that wonderful part of you, Haruto-san. Ah, really? Yeah. I mean it. Although Aya had been visibly nervous just moments ago, she seemed to have become quite skilled at giving compliments. In other words, her ability to praise indicated that her nervousness had subsided. Haruto-san, how's work been lately? Are you managing? Nothing bothering you? Are you maybe asking because you saw the stream the other day? Well, I wonder. I mean, you look like you're going through some tough times lately. Hey. That's totally something someone who watched would say. Ah, so you were checking to see if what I said during the stream was true. Well, I mean, maybe. Despite trying to play it off, Aya turned away with a guilty expression. It was a reaction that didn't quite conceal her true feelings. Ah, I'm embarrassed, seriously. In other words, it meant that his lack of experience had been exposed. Well. There's nothing to be embarrassed about, right? Really? Yeah. But, you see, it's also my first time hanging out with a guy alone. I've never experienced it before. So, in my eyes, it feels like everyone's just moving way too fast. She clenched her fist firmly while leaning her beautiful face closer. It was a somewhat awkward topic, but her words were comforting. That's reassuring to hear. I think the survey results also had a lot of yes votes just to tease you, Haruto-san. 80% is way too high. Yeah, it is, isn't it? When I saw the result, I was shocked. Their conversations matched so well because they had similar experiences. But, today, we'll also be joining that 80%, right? Thanks to you, Shirayuki-san. And thanks to you too, Haruto-san. Their conversation didn't seem very adult-like, but it stemmed from Haruto prioritizing part-time jobs since his student days and Aya attending an all-girls school. Oh, by the way, there's something I haven't told you yet, Shirayuki-san. Congratulations on placing third overall in the scrim. I was so happy for you. It felt like I was celebrating my own achievement because I was rooting for you till the end. Thank you. But wait, you watched until the end? The scrim lasted for about 3 hours, right? Well, I wanted to cheer for my favorite team. Thank you. Of course. The favorite team he mentioned was none other than the pro gaming team, Axis Crown, which Aya was affiliated with. This just occurred to me, but Shirayuki-san's 1v1 skill is really amazing, isn't it? You probably had about an 80% win rate in such fights. That's cause I feel stronger when Haruto-san is rooting for me. Ahaha, thank you. While it's exaggerated, it's undeniable that the support means a lot to Aya. Nevertheless, this banter lightens the mood considerably. Hey, I know asking you this might be a bit of a bother, but what did you think about our decision at the end of the last match, when we backed out from the fight to recover? Oh, that part. Haruto had been watching the scrims, trying to see if there were any insights he could learn from. He could recall the exact moment she was referencing. In hindsight, and as someone who was just watching, I'd say maybe trading shots might have been the better call in that situation. With Shirayuki-san's skills, there was a good chance you could have taken down the opponent. And if you did, your team could have adjusted to cover a different angle. Why yeah, you're probably right. I've been reflecting on that too. But, on the other hand, as the main DPS, if Shirayuki-san had gone down, the team would have collapsed. so that decision wasn't necessarily wrong. Definitely. It's truly a case of hindsight. If they hadn't been shot from another angle while recovering, it would have significantly reduced the risk taken and helped to steadily improve their position. Well, it might sound a bit presumptuous for an amateur like me to say this to a pro player like Shirayuki-san. What are you talking about, Haruto-san? You're on par with the pros. If we went and fought in a 1v1, I'm sure we'd be neck and neck in the scores. Wasn't Shirayuki-san nicknamed the Firepower Monster or something? That's quite. But you're called the Firepower Gorilla, Haruto-san. Eh? Firepower Gorilla? Haruto struggled to grasp the nickname he heard for the first time. It means that you're that strong. One of my fellow colleagues who faced off against you in a ranked match before was really surprised. They were like, why can't I outshoot him from there? Really? That's incredibly flattering. It's hard to tell who exactly said it, but being praised by someone who is also a pro like Aya is incredibly uplifting. And, given his own streaming style, he's not someone who gets mentioned often, which adds to the embarrassment. Trying to brush off those feelings, it happened at the moment they both reached for the same item. Their fingertips accidentally touched as they both reached for the same item. They quickly pulled their hands back, but the fact that they touched couldn't be changed. Sorry, Shirayuki-san. No, it's okay. I'm the one who should apologize. Just moments ago, they were chatting about their hobbies, but now, that casual atmosphere has vanished. Both of them stumble over their words, caught in an awkward situation. I am really not used to this sort of thing, so sorry. If I could take the lead, I might make it easier for you, Haruto-san. No, it's mutual, really. Aya shrinks her shoulders. Her face flushed red. Seeing her even more embarrassed than himself, Haruto feels a sense of relief. Should we, continue looking around the station? Why yes, please, let's do that. Their thoughts aligned once more. Both tried to recover from the awkward moment, but the accidental touch lingered in their minds. The spot where their hands had briefly met, it continued to radiate a warmth akin to a burning sensation. After spending about 30 minutes at the station where they had arranged to meet, they were able to calm down. They began to move according to their plan and headed to a PC specialty shop located in a large shopping center about a 15-minute walk from the main attraction, the aquarium. Though this shop might not be considered a suitable date spot, it was different for Haruto and Aya because they worked in a job that involved streaming. They can look out for new products that they can incorporate into their work setup. There were even products made in collaboration with other streamers which they can discuss. This got them even more excited than when they were at the station. Haruto-san, look, it's a gaming PC made in collaboration with Rina-san. Oh, this is the first time I've seen the actual thing. Aya approached it first, and Haruto quickly followed, rushing to see the product. The product was displayed in the most prominent spot in the store. Moreover, there was a black and white poster of Rina in the corner, with her striking a cool pose as the main figure. There was clearly a lot of effort put into the marketing. This design is really intricate and looks so cool. It's got great reviews too, just as expected from Rina-san. I heard that among all the collaboration products, this is one of the best ones. Wow. Seeing it displayed like this made Haruto realize just how influential Rina was. Thinking back to when she had come to his house and shared a meal with him made his hands tremble. It's amazing. Really. In this industry, there's always someone better. It's a highly competitive field, with the amount of success clearly shown in the numbers. Haruto, lost in various thoughts, was intently looking at the product when Aya whispered in his ear, careful not to let anyone else hear. Hey, Haruto-san, don't you have any plans for product collaborations? Nah, there's no way they'd approach me. Honestly, I don't think it'll ever happen in my lifetime. You're putting yourself quite low. Haha, well, yeah. Being active in this industry, Haruto admired collaboration products and had a hope that one day it might come true, though, in reality, he had already given up on it. Collaboration products are born from mutual popularity, which tends to generate high demand. Even though Haruto had a large channel with 200,000 subscribers, those numbers were gathered through controversial methods. He was said to have the most haters among Abex streamers, and considering the risk of scandals, the chances of a company choosing him were practically non-existent. I'm just happy that Shirayuki-san is surprised. Hee. I'm different from others because I know so many wonderful things about you. Haruto-san, you even protected me once, remember? That. I don't really remember. You're lying again. Aya looked up at him with a softened expression, making it difficult for Haruto to meet her gaze. Feeling embarrassed and unable to look her in the eyes, he quickly changed the subject to something less vulnerable. Anyway, if I were to ever get involved in this kind of project, wouldn't a poster like this probably get torn up? In that case, I'd secretly fix it with tape, so don't worry. Haha, well, if that time ever comes, please do. Haruto could only hope he would never face such a situation if a collaboration product ever came out. And on the topic of collaboration products, the most likely candidate was standing right beside him. Mimicking the way she had whispered to him earlier, Haruto leaned closer to Aya's ear. Actually, Shirayuki-san, have you got any collaborations lined up? The moment he whispered this into her ear, Aya covered her ears with both hands, her eyes widening in surprise as she tilted her head back. Seeing her reaction, Haruto quickly realized he had caused a misunderstanding. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do something weird. It's okay. I know you didn't. But if it's Haruto-san, I don't mind. It's just that my ears are really sensitive. Feeling like she had made an embarrassing slip of the tongue, Aya withdrew her hands to reveal her ears, now bright red as if to prove her weakness. So, no more of that. Okay, got it, as Haruto responded to Aya, who looked down shyly. Her words, if it's Haruto-san, I don't mind, kept echoing in his mind. The more he thought about it, the louder his heartbeat became, and he shook his head from side to side to clear these distracting thoughts. Well, about what you asked earlier, whether I've been approached for a collaboration. I think it might depend on how hard I work from now on. Really? Hee. That's all I can say for now. Without directly saying that she hasn't been approached, Aya's evasive answer hinted at something more. Then, if the product happens to be a PC, I might just get one depending on the timing. Haruto-san, you'd buy it? It's not set in stone yet, but I'm thinking about giving my Imto a PC as a gift when she graduates from high school. Even if she ends up living alone, we could still play games together if she has a PC. Oh, you're planning to buy a more expensive one, right? In that case, I'll pray that if I end up participating in the collaboration, the product will be to your liking. Haha, yup. My goal is to buy a high-spec PC, so I'll work hard to make sure I can afford it. Even if a PC beginner might find a high-spec PC more than she needs, Haruto still wanted to give her the best possible gift. It might seem like a waste to some, but the desire to give the best present is a sentiment everyone can understand. Come to think of it, if Imto-san goes to university and ends up living alone like me, Haruto-san, you'll feel lonely, won't you? No, I mean, she would be at an age where she can stand on her own, so I'm actually happy about it, Hee. Haruto-san, you can't hide your feelings. Honestly, it's just something I have to put up with eventually. They're used to living together, just the two of them. The idea that this routine might change someday is something he can't help but feel lonely about. The best thing would be to ask Imto-san directly about her plans and how she feels about it. If she's planning to live alone, it'll help you prepare mentally beforehand. Yeah, you're right. It's scary to ask for the answer, but I'll make sure to ask her soon. That's good. But if Imto-san does end up living alone, I would be worried. Thank you for caring so much about my Imto, but I'll occasionally drop her a message to check up on her while making sure to not be too pushy, so I think it'll be okay. Feeling grateful for someone who cares about his important family, Haruto naturally smiled, unaware of the unexpected reaction he would receive. Aya, with a serious expression, nudged Haruto's arm. Huh? Is it me you're worried about? Indeed, it seemed to say, yes, it's you. That's right. Because even though Imto-san is still in high school, she's capable enough to handle household chores, right? She probably has better life skills than other students her age, so she'll be fine. There's no need for him to worry, or rather, that's what Aya believed. It was also the opinion of someone who was living independently and admirably. From Haruto's perspective, it felt convincing. But Haruto-san, you're different, aren't you? If you start living alone, your eating habits might become unbalanced. You might forget to run the washing machine or forget to hang up clothes to dry. Oh, and I'm worried you might oversleep too. I am not that bad. Really? At first, Haruto thought she was teasing him, but when he saw her expression, with her hands clasped and eyebrows furrowed, he realized she was genuinely concerned. Well then, if you do start living alone, would it be okay for me to come to check if you're managing properly? As long as Shirayuki-san is okay with it. If that happens, I'll show off how perfectly I'm handling things. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Well then, if you do end up living alone, remember your words, okay? Of course. I'll be ready. Hee. Yay. Upon hearing this response, Aya's face lit up with a big smile, showing how much her worries had eased. And for Haruto, it was also a reminder that he needed to show a bit more reliability as an older person. Well, changing the subject, Haruto-san, is there anything you want to see in this store? Since we're here, if there's something you're curious about, let's go take a look. In that case, I'd like to check out some headphones. I've been interested in wireless ones, but I've never used them before, so I've been wanting to try them out if I had the chance. By the way, I'm fairly knowledgeable about headphones, so feel free to ask me anything. Really? That would be really helpful. All right, let's go then. Haruto nodded at her words and began to move. Spotting a sign that read audio equipment, they entered the aisle, where they quickly found the desired product. Oh, here it is. Wait, Shirayuki-san, look at this. It's 40,000 yen. As expected, that's quite something. I'm not buying it. There's no way I can afford that. His budget for headphones this time was 10,000 yen. The price stated was 4 times that amount, almost equivalent to a month's worth of food expenses. It wasn't even worth considering purchasing it. By the way, are you getting new headphones because your current ones broke? Nah, I'm thinking of using them for different purposes, like having a main and a backup pair. I also want to try out wireless ones. Normally, I'd wait until mine broke before buying new ones, but this time, it's partly to motivate myself to work harder and also as a good luck charm. A good luck charm? My current goal is to get closer to the numbers the person next to me is hitting. If you help me choose, I'll feel like I'm getting some extra power. Ah, I see. Hee. But it won't be that easy, you know? Well, I'm planning to work even harder from now on too. Haha, looks like I have a long way to go. Seeing her proud and happy profile, Haruto returned the expression with a smile. At this point, Aya's channel had twice the number of subscribers. At 400,000. That distant goal was what Haruto was aiming for. Well, this is just my opinion, but for someone new to wireless headphones, it's best to choose ones around 5,000 yen. Some people might not like wireless, and they're easy to lose because they're small. Yeah, that's true. It would be bad luck to lose them when they're supposed to bring me good luck. Exactly. So, it's best to start with something affordable for a trial run. Thanks for the helpful advice. Then this time, I'll prioritize design over performance. Feeling grateful, the two of them then spent a few minutes choosing a product. All right, I've made my decision. Haruto chose a white wireless headphone priced at 4,200 yen. It was the longer-awaited wireless headphone. Don't you want to look around more? It's okay. This alpha logo looks cool too. Your choice seems kind of boyish, doesn't it? Well, when you put it that way, it's a bit embarrassing. As he shyly gazed at the wireless headphones he held in his hand, Haruto, who usually didn't indulge himself, found himself completely absorbed in examining it. Naturally, he feels more than satisfied with his purchase and even feels like he could work even harder now. It was at that moment when he was about to immerse himself in his own world. Haruto-san. Sorry to bring this up now, but would it be okay if I went to the restroom? Of course. I'll browse some headphones over there while you're gone. I'll stay in this section, so don't worry. I'm sorry. I have to look for the restroom first, so it might take me a little while. Got it? Okay, I'll be right back. Take care. With a polite farewell from Aya, Haruto watches her walk away with steady steps. Oh, wow. They've released the latest model of these. They look so cool. Headphones are useful for listening to enemy footsteps or gunshots. For Haruto, it's one of his tools for work, so he quickly switches into concentration mode. He earnestly looks around, examining each one. Haruto becomes so immersed in his search that he doesn't notice. Right now, the wireless headphones he's holding are one unit fewer in stock and have sold out. When Aya returned to the corner where the headphones were displayed and safely reunited with Haruto. See, just as I thought. It looks great on you, Haruto-san. Well, I really like it. It's lightweight and stylish. Standing next to Haruto, who was checking himself out in the mirror wearing headphones, Aya grinned happily. By the way, how much does this cost? It's 45,000 yen. What? Hey, don't you dare hand over something that expensive. Come on, put it back. All right. What she handed him was a pair of headphones. It was meant to be tested, but after realizing the price, he hurriedly took it off as if he was being pranked. Just seeing him so flustered made her happy. Why did she feel like teasing the person she cared about? Should she continue? With those thoughts in mind, Aya decided to take the next step to get more attention. Returning the headphones back to their place, she reached for the next one and, Haruto-san, look at me. Naya, how's it? Putting on the demo cat ear headphones, she clenched her fingers like a cat paw and started impersonating a cat. Usually, she wouldn't do something like this. It wouldn't even cross her mind. But at that moment, she was swept up in the moment. Having successfully achieved the first goal she had set for their date, she was in high spirits. It was an action driven by emotions she couldn't contain. Hey, wait. If you don't react, it's really embarrassing for me, you know? The reaction she got, however, was unexpectedly none. As she nervously lightly hit his shoulder and complained, she found herself witnessing an unforeseen response. I am sorry. It's just that it really suited you, Shirayuki-san, so I couldn't help myself, he muttered weakly, his face turning even redder as if startled by his own words. Seeing him so embarrassed made Aya feel even more embarrassed herself. Her heart raced so intensely that she could almost hear it pounding. This is my impersonation skill. Not even knowing what she was saying, Aya felt lost. Unable to look at him or think of anything else to say, Aya slowly removed the cat ear headphones and returned them to their original display. But one thing was clear. At that moment, she realized that his embarrassed expression had become her weakness. Chapter 5, Day 2. It was 4 p.m., just like before. Both of them casually browsed through the large shopping center until they felt at ease. Arriving at the Nozomi Aquarium, where they could encounter about 650 species and approximately 20,000 marine creatures, the two of them finished checking in and chatted while looking at the pamphlet provided. Wow, I'm really looking forward to this. Me too. For Aya, who had put so much effort into planning today's date, seeing her partner genuinely excited like this brought her immense joy. To be honest, it's been about 10 years since I last came to the aquarium. For me, it's been exactly 10 years. Shirayuki-san too? Yes, that's why when I got your message saying I like fish, I was excited. That's how I decided on the plan. That was a good idea. Thank you for planning all this for today. It's fine. Choosing an unfamiliar but suitable location was a tough task, but she was receiving such gratitude in return. Getting to know what Haruto liked, and being able to spend this enjoyable time together, she felt rewarded. Apparently, this aquarium is open at night too. It says here that the atmosphere is different, but I wonder if it's that significant. Haruto-san, the nighttime visitors are definitely all couples. Haha, that's true. When researching Nozomi Aquarium, Aya quickly discovered that it was open at night as well. Considering it was a date, coming in the evening might have offered a more atmospheric and enjoyable experience. However, she deliberately left it out of the plan. One of the reasons was Haruto's family situation. Considering that his sister was waiting for him to return, it wasn't ideal for the date to last that long. And the main reason, as she mentioned, was the difference in the crowd. In a romantic place like an aquarium at night, it was easy to imagine that there would be a lot of couples. If she were to walk around such a place with someone she cared about, the surroundings might influence them. She might end up doing something strange while getting carried away by the atmosphere. She might even end up doing something bold to avoid the possibility of doing something that might make her disliked. Aya chose a time when there were many families around. Well then, Haruto-san, which way should we start? If we take the right path, we'll see the ocean fish first. And if we take the left path, we'll see the river fish first. Can I really decide such an important thing? I'm honestly fine with either. No need to be considerate. Then I want to see the ocean fish first. I think that's the main attraction, but I can't wait any longer. Hee hee. Then let's go right. Sorry for being selfish, and thanks for indulging me. No, it's fine. Come on. Let's go, let's go. Yeah. For Aya, the order in which they visited didn't matter. All she wanted was to be able to walk with Haruto. That was her honest feeling. To convey that there was no need to apologize or thank her, she firmly pushed Haruto's back as they entered the right-hand aisle. And there, they were greeted by small fishes swimming gracefully in tanks taller than their own height. Some had beautiful patterns, others had distinctive features, and some had cute faces. Seeing this scene made them instantly realize they were at an aquarium. Drawn in, they stood side by side in front of the large tank. Shirayuki-san, just watching this is pretty fun. Same here. It was fun to see the fish gracefully swim, moving their dorsal and tail fins, and to see Haruto's side profile as he was absorbed in the fish. Of course, for the latter, she made sure not to stare so much as not to get caught. Though there was a period of silence, it wasn't awkward at all. Aya subtly moved closer until their shoulders almost touched and enjoyed the pleasant moment they had together. Haruto-san, if you want, it's okay to take pictures of the fish. As long as you don't use flash, it's allowed. Ah, no, I'm fine. Really? Are you holding back because of the atmosphere or something? It's more of a personal thing. When I start taking pictures, I get so focused on getting a good shot that it becomes hard to remember the experience. So, I'll just take a quick snapshot in my brain. I see. Haruto's words reassured her that he was enjoying himself. Just that alone made her incredibly happy. It filled her from her fingertips to her toes. Her face even started to feel warm. On the other hand, Shirayuki-san, aren't you going to take any pictures? I don't think you have the same problem as me. I'm fine as it is. If it were a place I'd only visit once, I wouldn't say this. But if I ever want to see the fish again, I'll just rely on Haruto-san to come here with me. Haha, I'd be happy to. Noticing that he didn't seem entirely displeased, she quickly looked at the tank to avoid feeling embarrassed. And then, once again, another moment of silence. If I had a bit more experience with socializing, maybe I could say something clever in times like these, Haruto murmured, lost in thought. Hee hee, quiet moments like this are important too, so don't worry about it. Though, I'm curious about what you mean by in times like these. Did you want to say something earlier? Haha, you're really sharp. It's just that. Yeah. There's something I haven't told you yet, Shirayuki-san. Something you haven't told me yet? Well, when I first met you earlier, Shirayuki-san, I couldn't help but notice how well dressed you were, so I wanted to tell you that what you're wearing looks good on you! Exclamation mark. It's amazing that there are people out there who could say such things so easily. Sure, there are people like that, but we can go at our own pace. Actually, if you don't, my inexperienced heart wouldn't be able to handle it. It's a relief to hear you say that. There are certainly those who prefer someone more experienced in romance to take the lead in everything. However, Aya held a different opinion. Because they were both inexperienced, she hoped they could build their experiences together, to deepen their relationship step by step, feeling their way through it together. Haruto-san, your clothes really suit you too. Thanks. I can't say things like that unless you say them first. So I think you're really amazing. Haruto-san. Thank you. Personally, I'm happier if you stay just the way you are. I think it's a guy's role to say these things. Then, I'll take you up on that. It's less nerve-wracking to respond after being told first. It allows the conversation to flow naturally. So, knowing that the person she cares about thinks this way, Aya couldn't be happier. And there's one more thing I have to say. It's beautiful! Exclamation mark. Haruto said this while glancing at the fish in the tank in front of him. Nay, you can't say something like that and then follow it up with a comment about the fish. It makes me think you're talking about me. I'll misunderstand. Some people need a bit of help to say such things. Aya, who had seriously believed that, felt even more frustrated now. But as she looked at Haruto's profile again, she realized she had been mistaken. It was the same expression he had when they saw each other at the PC specialty shop's headphone section. A shy, embarrassed expression. So, from your perspective, Haruto-san, I look beautiful? Don't get too carried away. But I'm happy. Her expression pleaded for him to say it again, but he ignored her to the point where she knew he had reached his limit. Still, she could tell he genuinely meant it. The happiness she felt made her want to dance. Because she was getting carried away, she had something to say in return. Then, I think it looks cool. Mimicking her words while looking at the fish, Haruto's shoulders jerked noticeably. Aya felt his gaze from beside her but didn't meet it. Pretending not to notice, she used her hand to cover her reddening ears. Realizing that none of the exhibited fish could be described as cool, Haruto seemed to have thought the same thing as she did earlier, as Aya caught sight of him scratching his cheek out of the corner of her eye. Shall we move to the next section soon? Why yeah, sounds good. And, thank you for your kind words. I don't know what you're talking about. I was hoping you would answer properly. Responding with a "you're welcome" would be like revealing that she had called Haruto cool. But, there was one thing she wanted to point out. Even though you already know what I mean, Haruto-san. As soon as she said that, Haruto covered his face with one hand to avoid being seen from the side. Seeing her partner less composed than herself brings a sense of relief. Haruto-san, when you're ready, shall we move to the next section? That would be great. This time, she took the lead. The best defense is a good offense. That was one of the lessons learned at this moment. Moving on to the next section, the atmosphere changed drastically from before, to a pitch-black space. There, similar to a planetarium, a scene unfolded around them with countless beautiful jellyfish emitting colorful lights. Amazing. Wow, this looks beautiful. A sight so beautiful that words couldn't describe it. As they gazed around without blinking, Haruto called out to them. Shirayuki-san, can I go take a closer look? There's a huge jellyfish over there. Of course, go ahead. Seemingly more interested in big rather than beautiful, Haruto eagerly approached the jellyfish with quick steps. Following him slowly, Aya caught up, standing next to Haruto again. She took advantage of his fascination with the jellyfish to quietly close the distance until their shoulders touched. This had already succeeded once before. Perhaps he hadn't noticed, or maybe he didn't mind. Either way, there were no signs of disdain. It felt natural. Oh, it's a real jellyfish. It's really huge. With sparkling eyes, he leaked his impressions while gazing at the jellyfish swimming around gently. Wow, despite his usually mature demeanor, he seemed somewhat childish now. Captivated by this gap, Aya continued to enjoy the blissful time. Recalling the compliments of "it looks good on you" and "beautiful," she alternated her gaze between the jellyfish and his face. It was an unconventional way to enjoy the aquarium, but for Aya, it was the most fulfilling. What do you think that jellyfish is thinking as it swims? PFFT. Though she could somewhat understand what he meant, she nearly burst out laughing at the unexpected question. But Aya managed to stifle her laughter. Ah, that was close. Normally, It wouldn't be a problem to laugh. However, not right now. For now, she wanted him to focus on what was in front of him. She didn't want him to notice her. If I'm going to say it, now's the time. It's now or never. It'll be okay. Definitely. When Aya was preparing the date plan beforehand, she set 3 goals to achieve during their time together. She had determined that achieving the second goal would be possible in this section of the aquarium, based on her research of the aquarium beforehand. As a novice in romance, she knew that if she missed this opportunity, she might never get another chance again. So, to create unforgettable memories and avoid any regrets, she rallied herself. Just like how it was during her countless practices, she called out to him. Haruto-kun, do you like jellyfish? Yeah, I love them. They're such unique creatures, and I really like their relaxed vibe. I see, I see. He didn't seem to notice the change in how she addressed him. I did it. I finally called him. Could a plan even go this smoothly? Aya couldn't help but smile, feeling so happy that she almost wanted to jump for joy right then and there. Do you like jellyfish too, Shirayuki-san? I like them enough to be able to watch them for hours. I'm glad to hear that. I was worried it might become boring if you weren't interested in them. Oh, don't worry about that. Even if I wasn't interested, I wouldn't find it boring with you. He really is a kind person. Though it was a bit embarrassing, Aya thought it would be reassuring to let him know. Huh? So, does that mean there's something else more fun? Yeah, like observing Haruto-kun's happy expression. Well, don't do that. It's embarrassing. Luckily for you, I'm interested in the animals at the aquarium, so there's no need for that. You're quite the tease. He showed a relieved expression. I'm sorry, Haruto-kun, I lied. I couldn't help but watch you. Though she apologized silently in her mind, she couldn't help but continue to unconsciously glance at his profile. Because of that, Aya was able to notice. Oh, Haruto-kun, there's another big jellyfish up there on the right. Where? Oh, that jellyfish over there has a different pattern. I prefer this jellyfish over here though. It's hard to choose for me. He pondered with a troubled expression. There was still no sign that he noticed, but this was also something she had anticipated. I'm sorry again, Haruto-kun. I'm really timid. But I've wanted to call you this for so long. She knows that she should have asked for permission before changing the way she addressed him. She knows that he's kind and would likely forgive her when asked, but she still couldn't muster up the courage in her novice heart to pull it off. In Aya's mind, the moment he notices the change, she could prompt with a "Is it okay?" and that would be her limit. Still, she managed to achieve one of her goals. If he notices, then she can ask for permission. Even if he doesn't notice, she can continue calling him Haruto-kun, the name she's always wanted to use. But this is nerve-wracking. I hope Haruto-kun can't hear the sound of my heart pounding. She took a step back, trying to create some distance between them. It was troublesome how she couldn't shake the feeling of not wanting to be apart from him. I know it's a bit late to ask, but there are various types of jellyfish here, right? Shirayuki-san, are there any jellyfish that caught your interest? Yeah, there are. I'd like to see some small jellyfish too. Ahaha, that's true. I'm sorry for staying here for so long. No, it was fun, so it's fine. And because of that, I was able to change how I address him. For Aya, the big jellyfish that captivated him was her savior. All right, now it's your turn, Aya-san. Let's go over there. From the looks of it, those small jellyfish over there swims under your feet. It's a bit dark, so be careful not to trip over any steps. Haruto-kun, I am not that clumsy, you know. Just in case, I'll hold on to your sleeve. Just like when she secretly bought the same wireless headphones as him and got their first pairing item. She felt like skipping with joy. With the same feeling as when they synchronized and reached out for the same wireless earphones, Aya quietly took his hand, paid for their tickets, and felt like skipping with joy. Feeling cheerful, she began to move, holding onto his oblivious sleeve. I'm really happy. Thanks to achieving yet another goal, she was able to enjoy the aquarium more than any other visitor. She felt confident that she was enjoying it more than children visiting the aquarium for the first time. Wow, Haruto-kun, There are baby jellyfishes over here. They look like enoki mushrooms. Hee hee, indeed. They crouched down together on the spot, observing the cute jellyfish swimming gracefully at their feet. At that moment, Aya was convinced that not choosing the night aquarium was the right decision. If there were lots of couples around, she would surely try to hold his hand, and she could even imagine herself becoming unable to speak out of nervousness. I'd be happy if Haruto-kun felt the same way as me. With narrowed eyes, Aya sent her gaze to him, hoping to convey her feelings. After thoroughly enjoying the jellyfish section, they moved through the underwater tunnel, the shark section, and the penguin section, making a satisfying round of the entire aquarium. It's really hard to choose, and now, at the official shop of the Nozomi Aquarium, where the sky was visible through the skylight, they were in the middle of selecting souvenirs to take home. Yeah, all right. I've decided on this, Aya-san. Haruto picked up a palm-sized sea turtle plushie. For me, I'm going with this penguin-kun. On the other hand, what Aya brought over, hugging it with both arms, was a 55 centimeters tall emperor penguin plushie with a tag attached. Are you really getting that? Yeah, it's super cute, right? It is cute, but isn't it really huge? Plushies are the most satisfying when they're big enough to hug. I've already decided to buy this one, so here, try hugging it once. Oh, okay. Following her lead, Haruto took it and hugged it with both arms and immediately understood what she meant. Nodding in agreement, he returned the plushie he was holding to the shelf and came back with a 55 centimeters sea turtle. Yeah, I think I'll go with a similar size too. That was the moment when they were both completely captivated by the fluffy charm of the plushies. Hee hee. This is something you can't do with a smaller sized one. Yeah, it would be a waste if you couldn't give it a good hug. Though the sea turtle wasn't as comfortable to hug as the penguin due to its shape, Haruto couldn't compromise on this particular species. By the way, I know it's weird for me to say this after telling you to take the bigger one, but since you don't live alone, won't your sister get mad at you? Like, where are you going to put that? That kind of thing. Oh, she'll definitely get mad. Are you sure that's okay? Aya, surprised at Haruto's casual confirmation, wondered how he could be so nonchalant. However, Haruto had his reasons. Well, getting scolded isn't great, but since my sister loves plushies even more than I do, she'll end up adoring it. Getting scolded by Yuno and doing something she dislikes were two things Haruto always tried to avoid. However, there was one exception to this rule, when he knew she would ultimately be happy with it. And besides, I have a trump card. Oh? If she gets too mad, I'll just say, if you're that angry, then I won't let you touch it. There's no way a plushie lover like her can resist that. Haruto-kun, have you, by any chance, had this happen to you? Well, yes. I've been ordered to clean my streaming room to earn the right to touch a plushie. Of course, I cleaned it in a hurry. I knew it. Haruto hadn't thought he was being that obvious, but Aya saw through him easily. Haruto felt a bit embarrassed that, at his age, had to work hard to clean his room just for the chance to touch a plushie. Then I'll pray for a peaceful resolution. That would be reassuring. So, Aya-san, just as he was about to continue speaking, I won't let you pay for me. She cut him off firmly, as if she had seen it coming. At least let me treat you to one thing as your senpai. Why don't you let me treat you instead? Haruto-kun, that's absolutely not happening. Then, don't moo me. Aya puffed out her cheeks and mimicked his words as if to counter his argument. Hee hee, since we both had the same idea, I guess it's natural that it ended up like this. That's true. They clashed with their unyielding wills, but there was no tension between them. They laughed together while holding their plushies. Well then, I guess we have no choice but to pay separately. Yeah, it's unavoidable, but let's pay separately. Thus, they exchanged banter and happily lined up at the same register, continuing their conversation while waiting their turn. For them, just spending time talking was enjoyable. It didn't take long for their turn to come. Aya-san, I just realized something now. Haruto's startled voice came after they had finished paying for their plushies. It happened when he reunited with Aya after both of them had completed their purchases. We have plans for dinner, right? Yeah, but is something wrong? Well, I just realized that bringing these big bags into a restaurant might be a bit inconvenient for others. They had been so absorbed in buying plushies that they had overlooked something important. Despite the effort Aya had put into planning, it seemed they would have to change their plans. Haruto felt guilty, but Aya seemed different. She smiled with a calm expression as if she had anticipated this turn of events. You're quite considerate, Haruto-kun. Oh, no, it's not a big deal. Oh, I know. Maybe we can use a coin locker, so it should be okay, but that would cost extra money, so how about I suggest something else? Of course. What's your suggestion? Well, that would be for Aya. It was her third and final goal, the perfect conclusion. Of course, she had already thought this through. With a confident gesture, she extended her index finger and spoke. If we put them in a coin locker, there's a chance the plushies might get squished. So, I propose we have them delivered to my house. At your house? Aya-san? Yeah. Well, that's certainly a good idea, but wouldn't that be a bit of a bother? Visiting the home of a girl who lives alone. Haruto couldn't help but feel like it might be a bit of a burden. Haruto was of the opinion that it might be better to spend money and use a coin locker, but the decision was made before he could suggest that again. Haruto-kun, just accept it and come to my house. I want you to come, so I'm telling you like this. With the bag containing the plushies in her hand, and by being gently pulled along, Aya's actions and choice of words seemed like they were already settled in her mind. Haruto had no choice but to give in. It was past 7 p.m. From the Nozomi Aquarium, they moved to a different location, apartment 807, which included an elegant black and white tiled exterior and soundproofed rooms. Stepping into Aya's home, Haruto found himself in a refreshing and cute living room, decorated by white and light green carpets, curtains, and chic wooden furniture. It's a bit late to say this now, but if Aya-san's fans found out I visited her home, I might get in trouble. Don't worry about that. The people who support me are all kind. And, you've been standing for a while, so please have a seat on the sofa. Thank you. Haruto, who was prompted to the sofa, slowly lowered himself awkwardly, still holding onto the bag. You can relax. Just treat it as if it's your own home. Why yeah. Aya tried to keep the atmosphere light by turning on the TV and speaking gently. But the reality was that Haruto couldn't quite follow her words. Is this your first time entering a girl's home? Haruto-kun, you definitely know the answer before you asked. Who knows? She seemed to be trying to ease his tension, flashing a mischievous smile and teasing him. Thanks to her, he managed to relax a bit. But the phrase girl's house kept lingering in his mind. Hey, why don't you take out the plushies you bought at the aquarium? I think hugging them will definitely help you calm down. That's a good idea. He quickly seized upon this lifeline. Taking out the sea turtle plushie from the bag at his feet and placing it on his lap. At that moment, don't forget Penguin-kun too. Here you go. Thank you. She handed him the Emperor Penguin plushie as well. Holding both plushies together, his tension began to melt away. He was enveloped in a sense of calmness and was finally able to relax. But it's embarrassing for you to see me like this, Aya-san. Don't worry about it. If the roles were reversed, I'd feel the same way. It's just that I'm used to this environment, so I feel more at ease. Have you ever had a guy over before? Like, someone from your industry? Maybe recently? No. Absolutely not. The only guy I trust enough to invite over is you, Haruto-kun. I see. Flapping her hands nervously, Aya seemed completely flustered. To an ordinary person, she might appear to be desperately trying to cover something up. But knowing Aya's innocence, it was clear that she wasn't lying. I'll have you know, even though I'm like this, I'm actually quite cautious, you know? I went to an all-girls school, and I'm new to Tokyo. I see. Aya said it as if it were obvious, but the more she emphasized her cautiousness, the more special Haruto felt, trying to conceal the pounding of his heart. He hugged the plushies tightly. Anyway, let's change the subject since this one's embarrassing. Haruto-kun, what should we have for dinner tonight? The classic choices for delivery are sushi or pizza. With that, Aya picked up the tablet that was on the table and started browsing for food. It's kind of unfair to ask, but Aya-san, which one are you in the mood for? To be honest, I'm in the mood for both. Eh? Haha. Well then, since it's a special occasion, why don't we just order both? That's quite luxurious. Let's go with that. Haruto wouldn't usually indulge in both, but today was different. He wanted to thank Aya for making today enjoyable. I'm sure you're hungry too, Haruto-kun, so don't hold back and eat as much as you want, okay? I'll take you up on that. Their appetites were different, so ideally, he'd cover the entire dinner bill, but he knew that wouldn't fly with her. By the way, Haruto-kun, if it's between sushi and pizza, which one does your Ayato-san prefer? She prefers sushi, but why do you ask? It seemed completely unrelated to their previous conversation. When he tilted his head in confusion and asked again, he understood the intention behind the question. I've relied on her Oni-chan a lot today, so I want to show my gratitude. That's why I'd like to order another for her. No, you don't have to worry about that. My Ayato is already in high school, so she won't feel lonely even if it's just for a little while. I just want to do it, okay? To be honest, I'm hoping it might be a chance for me to get closer to Ayato-san. Are you really just doing this because you want to? Aya-san, you're not doing it out of obligation or anything? Rather, I think it's beneficial for me in the long run, so I hope you can indulge me just this once. I guess if you put it that way, then, I'll have no choice but to accept it. Hee, thank you. But, just so you know, expensive sushi is definitely off the table, okay? Got it. Even though she was the one paying, Aya looked positively delighted. Seeing her smile like that, Haruto couldn't help but imagine Yuna happily accepting the sushi with a cheerful yay. Haruto could also envision a future where he would be calmly scolded with "Why did you let her inconvenience herself like that?" Preparing himself for a good scolding upon returning home, especially with the plushie incident added in. He found himself looking forward to seeing his sister's rapidly changing expressions. Right, before that, we need to choose our dinner too. With that, Aya switched her expression and timidly approached the sofa with the tablet in hand. Maybe. Could I sit next to you so we can look at the menu together? Of course. Though it's kind of weird for the host to say something like that, Haruto teased her lightly as he showed Aya the penguin and sea turtle plushies he held in his arms. Which one do you prefer, Aya-san, the penguin or the sea turtle? Hee. Then I'll go with Haruto-kun's sea turtle. Here you go. It was evident that she was somewhat nervous, but as he handed the plushie over with both hands, her expression softened considerably, and she settled down next to him. With the plushies on their lap, they browsed through the menu together. As they peered into the tablet, there were occasional moments when their shoulders would brush against each other. Haruto tried his best not to be too conscious of it. On the other hand, Aya was keenly aware of every moment their shoulders touched or their faces came close as they peered into the tablet, trying to make the most of these moments to delay the inevitable separation that would come once they finished their order. Aya suddenly felt a thought cross her mind. I wonder if this is how it feels like to live together? It was the kind of thought that would invite people to tease her if shared with anyone else. But it was precisely because she had this thought that she had decided to reconsider something. She had changed the way she addressed him for a while now. She had been careful not to let him notice until now. She couldn't help but wonder if, by obtaining his permission and acknowledgement for calling him that way, she could feel even more like they were living together. Once that feeling had taken root, she couldn't keep it to herself any longer. Haruto-kun. What's up? They were in the middle of looking at the menu, but she decided to convey her thoughts. Haruto-kun. You see, since we entered the jellyfish section at the aquarium, there's something I've been doing. Do you have any idea what it might be? Anticipating that he might be puzzled, she considered guiding him to the answer by giving hints, and just as she tilted her head to do so, she was met with something unexpected. You mean when you changed how you addressed me from Haruto-san to Haruto-kun? That was the correct answer that left her momentarily stunned. Wait a minute. You noticed, Haruto-kun, I was so focused on the jellyfish that I only noticed after being called that a few times. But, you didn't seem surprised at all? I'm called that a lot at work, so I'm used to it. And also, I felt happy when you called me that, so I didn't want to bring it up in case you changed back! Exclamation mark. She thought he simply hadn't noticed, but it was completely different. The words happy to be called and the desire not to change it back, and the realization that she had been consciously overusing his name because she thought that he hadn't noticed. Various emotions surged within, causing heat to flush her face. Feeling like she might overheat herself, she hugged the plushie so tightly it felt like its neck might break. Then, let me share something too. Since that jellyfish section, I've been doing something to you, Aya-san. Any guesses? Huh? Wait, something you've been doing to me? Like secretly taping something on my clothes? Haha. I wouldn't do something sneaky like that. She quickly checked his clothes just in case, but as expected, there was nothing as he mentioned. I really have no idea. Are you sure there's something? Tell me the answer. Then, the answer is, I also changed the way I address you. As soon as she was told, she blinked rapidly, trying to recall how she had been addressed. Haruto-kun. You used to call me Aya-san, right? Until before the jellyfish section, I always called you Shirayuki-san. That's right. After a long moment of silence, Aya experienced her biggest surprise of the day. I totally didn't notice. I guess I was just too focused on calling you Haruto-kun. Ha ha ha. Maybe it's because I sometimes call you Aya when we play Ibex together. Calling you Aya-san didn't feel strange. I'm sure that played a part. The intention was to inform him about the change in how he was addressed. But somehow, the roles had reversed. Despite feeling a mix of emotions, a desire to indulge emerged. Hey, Haruto-kun, it might be selfish of me, but I want you to call me that one more time. Your name? Yeah, just because I'm curious. Now that you've told me. Now, with this new perspective, the feeling when called will be different. To confirm this, she made such a request. Aya-san. Their eyes met as he called her. Just that alone made her heart race. It was embarrassing, but hearing it once wasn't enough. She wanted to hear it again. One more time. Aya-san. That's all you get for now. Their eyes met only until this point. Closing his mouth tightly, Haruto's ear turned red again as he shifted his gaze to the tablet. At that moment, a wave of embarrassment surged through Aya as she witnessed Haruto's blushing expression, which was a newfound weakness for her. Alright, Haruto-san, let's decide on the menu quickly. Wait a minute, the way you're calling me has reverted. It's on a cooldown, okay? I'll revert back soon. Are you sure? Why yeah. At this moment, the plushies they were both hugging seemed to be struggling under the pressure. Section. It was past 9:30 p.m. After finishing the meal delivered to their door, they spent the rest of the time relaxing and enjoying themselves in the living room. Thanks for today, Aya-san. I had a really great time. Yeah. At the entrance of the apartment building, Haruto and Aya exchanged farewells. Hey, Haruto-kun, I can walk you home, you know? Thank you, but just having that thought means a lot. It's late for a woman to be out alone. Is it okay if I insist on wanting to walk you home? No, it's not. Haruto, who usually indulges her in anything, responds decisively. His determination to not give in is clear. At this point, it seems like no matter what approach he takes, he won't let her walk him home. In exchange, though it may not be much, I'll be the one to invite you to hang out next time as soon as possible. Really? Absolutely. If you're lying, I'll bite your ear. Haruto-kun. Haha. I'll do my best to avoid that. Then, okay. I'll endure it. Though parting ways here is sad, being invited out again makes her happy. In an effort to express her excitement, Aya nods enthusiastically. When I invite you next time, I'll make sure to plan something even more fun than today, so look forward to it. That's reassuring to hear. I know you'll do your best. By the way, you're always welcome to come over to my place. Just make sure to let me know, okay? Got it. And thank you for the sushi. You're welcome. When giving it to her, say hello to Imto-san for me. Okay. Haruto-kun. I'll make sure to convey that it's from Aya-san. Please do. And with that, the conversation comes to an end. From the atmosphere, it's evident that the next words will be the parting words. At this moment, Aya desperately tries to think of something, anything, she can do before parting. Well then, I guess that's it. See you later, Aya-san. Haruto-kun. Here, only one thing comes to mind. Now, let's end with a high five. Oh, then, high five it is. As Aya held her hand up with her palm facing out, Haruto extended his hand and overlapped it with hers. Just this simple gesture brings a sense of warmth to her heart. But, truth be told, she didn't want just a high five. She wanted to hold his hand tightly and keep Haruto with her a bit longer. But, she couldn't. This high five was the most intimate gesture Aya could muster from her timid self. Dragging this out any further would only worry Haruto's sister. So, as their hands separate from the high five, she put on a smile. Haruto-kun, keep up the good work with your job. Yeah. Well then, bye-bye, Aya-san. I really don't want to say goodbye. Haha, I'll make sure to contact you once I'm home. Though she unintentionally lets her true feelings slip, she doesn't want to cause any trouble by acting on them. She watches Haruto's back as he gradually moves away. He pauses, just as he's about to turn the corner. Haruto turned around and waved his hand. As Aya returned the gesture, Haruto finally turned the corner. He was gone from sight, though this was usually the time when she felt lonely. Aya managed a small smile. It might just be her imagination, but she felt like he had a reluctant expression, as if he didn't want to leave. Chapter 6. After returning home, as Haruto traced his way home under the starry sky illuminated by streetlights, a sense of nostalgia overcame him upon arriving home. I'm home. Haruto opened the front door and called out for his sister. The first thing he saw was Yuno's neatly arranged shoes and an unfamiliar pair of sneakers lined up next to them, confirming that Suzuha, who had said that she would be staying over today, was visiting. He took off his shoes. Footsteps echoed from the living room, and the door connecting the hallway to the living room opened. Welcome back, Oni-chan. Haruto uneased. Sorry for intruding. It's fine. I already heard about your visit from you, so no worries. Thanks for coming out to greet me. Haruto stepped into the entrance, smiling as he greeted the two. It's been a while, says Yuha-chan. Are you still enjoying school? Yes. Thanks to Yuno-chan. Oni-chan is such a worrywart. He asks the same thing every time. Fufafu. Isn't it the usual? I know I'm persistent. Because Haruto attended school in the unique situation of having lost his parents, he worried that Yuno might face the same challenges. Being whispered about, teased, or left out because of conversations about parents. Suzuha, influenced by her quarter-blood heritage, had striking silver hair that made her stand out more than anyone else. Knowing her past of being bullied at school for unreasonable reasons like not having black hair, not being liked, or looking strange, he couldn't help but worry about her too. All of this was because, well, I really care about you and says Yuha-chan. So, it's something I can't help but ask. I'm happy. Really happy to hear you say that. Don't include me when says Yuha-chan is here. It's embarrassing. Says Yuha expressed her feelings while shyly curling up, and Yuno showed a slightly prickly attitude. Seeing the two, Haruto gave a sheepish smile and conveyed what he hadn't been able to say. So, anyways, take it easy tonight, says Yuha-chan. You don't have to worry about imposing too much. Thank you for your kindness. I'll take you up on that. No problem, says Yuha bowed her head modestly. Her silky, beautiful silver hair swayed, making her movements look even more graceful. By the way, Oni-chan, I've been curious for a while now, but what did you bring home today? I can clearly see something that looks like it's going to cause a storage problem. Oh, this? Tada. It's a sea turtle plushie. Haruto quickly took it out of the bag and held it up for the two to see. What do you think? Cute, right? Says Yuha-chan. It's cute, but it's really big. I purposely chose a big one. Good for you, Oni-chan. If says Yuha-chan hadn't been here today, I would have nagged you about it. Well, You probably brought it home knowing you'd get scolded anyways. Ha ha. Haruto could only let out a dry laugh, knowing he had been found out. By the way, where did you buy that? It's not something you usually see at a game center. I bought it at an aquarium. The Nozomi Aquarium. Huh? Exclamation mark. This came as a shock to both of them. Oni-chan, did you go to an aquarium today? You said you were going out with your workmates. Yeah, that's right. So we went to the aquarium and some other places. Huh? Did I say something strange? No, you didn't say anything strange. It's just that the destination was unexpected, that's all. Yeah, I suppose it was, but it was really fun. There were huge jellyfish, cool sharks, and cute penguins. Well, if Oni-chan enjoyed himself, that's good. Yuno glanced sideways at Suzuha, who was visibly shaken and frozen in place. The place he had visited was an aquarium. It was only natural to think that he went on a date, so her reaction was understandable. I have something to ask you, Oni-chan. Did you get a girlfriend or something? No, that's still the same as always. With a drawn-out voice, Yuno gazed into Haruto's eyes. Having lived together for many years, she could tell that he wasn't lying about something like this. Is something bothering you? I was just curious. Anyways, why don't you go take a bath? I've already filled the tub with hot water. Really? Then I'll get in before it gets cold. Having received a message saying, I'm heading home now, Yuno hurriedly filled the bathtub with hot water. Oh, right. This bag is for you and Suzuha-chan. This one has sushi that my workmate, Aya-san, bought for you. She also told me to tell you please eat it. And this bag has desserts I bought from the convenience store. I'll put them in the fridge, so eat them whenever you like. I'm happy about it. But why did Aya-san go to such lengths? Sushi is expensive, so Oni-chan should have declined. Of course. I initially declined, but she said she wanted to give it as a gift to make you happy. If she put it that way. Well, all right. But make sure you tell her thank you from me. And from me too, please. Got it. Well then, I'll go take a bath after sending the message. The conversation at the entrance ended there. The three of them moved to the living room. Haruto placed the sea turtle plushie on the sofa and put the sushi and the desserts he bought from the convenience store into the refrigerator. All right then, I'll go take a bath now. You two take it easy. Oh, Suzuha-chan, just one thing. Why yes? If it's all right with you after I get out of the bath, would you like to play that chess game we promised? Why yes, I'd love to. Great. I'll help you get the board set up. Thanks. All right, I'll be off then. With that, Haruto, holding his smartphone, headed to the bathroom. In the living room, it's just Yuno and Suzuha left. They quickly exchange glances. Why Yuno-chan? Haruto unisn't. I didn't expect that either. I mean, Oni-chan hanging out with a girl. Their thoughts aligned, because he was someone who didn't seem to have any romantic interests. They exchange wide-eyed glances, but judging from his behavior, it seems like she's just a co-worker. I mean, Oni-chan is terrible at lying. Why yeah. Suzuha lets out a relieved sigh but then continues with a lowered voice. But, as expected of Haruto Unisn. Before I knew it. Well, he's someone we admire, so it won't be weird for him to be popular, but maybe he's just too busy for romance all this time. Both of them know many good qualities about Haruto. Yuno and Suzuha are both thinking, it's strange for him to be single. For now, why don't we eat the dessert Oni-chan got for us to calm down? Oh, and while we're at it, let's take a look at the sushi too. Why yeah. It's already quite late at night. Although they've already had dinner, they're both curious about what's inside. Yuno opens the refrigerator and Suzuha peeks in as well. Once they're ready to look, Yuno lifts the lid of the sushi box. What's with these extravagant toppings? And there's fatty tuna and sea urchin, and it's seasoned with red vinegar and sprinkled with gold. This must be really expensive. I've never seen sushi this fancy before. There are 20 dazzling pieces of sushi, each packed meticulously into the box. For high schoolers like them, knowing the price of such a product is terrifying. They'd rather not think about it if possible. This person, Aya-san definitely tricked him into bringing this home. Oni-chan would never let her choose something this expensive. In other words, she knows Haruto isn't well enough, I think. Yeah, otherwise, he wouldn't have brought it home. He probably got convinced by some excuse like she has a free coupon. There's no way something this extravagant could be free. Normally, they wouldn't think Haruto could be deceived like this, but they could imagine the scene playing out in their minds. Because Haruto is kind, pure, and straightforward, it's easy to imagine him being easily tricked by someone. She's definitely targeting Oni-chan, isn't she? I don't think someone who doesn't care about him would spend this much money on his relative. Says Yuha's weak voice leaks out, as if in agreement. Well, we'll just have to switch our mindset for now. Since you're going to play chess together later, we can't let Oni-chan worry about you, right? Yeah, you're right, Yuno-chan. Okay, Haruto may have his dense moments, but strangely, he's more sensitive than anyone else when it comes to people's worries and can quickly notice them. To enjoy their time together, they want to avoid causing him any worry. Well then, says Yuha-chan, what dessert would you like? We have jelly, pudding, and cake. Each of us gets 2. I'll have the pudding. Then I'll have pudding too. Here you go. Thank you. Yuno hands the pudding to says Yuha along with a plastic spoon. Then, they both sit down in their chairs and continue their conversation while eating. Hey, I just thought of something. Did Oni-chan really walk into the convenience store carrying that huge sea turtle plushie? Wasn't he embarrassed? Oh, yeah, you're right. He might have been embarrassed. And I hope he didn't brag to the cashier about it. Like pulling out the plushie and all. He. What exactly was going through his mind when he entered the convenience store is something only he knows. But considering the possibility that he might have felt embarrassed but still bought it, Yuno activates her can't be straightforward mode and makes a light-hearted comment while munching on her pudding. Why Yuno-chan? What kind of person is Aya-san? Well, ultimately, we'll have to ask Oni-chan, but based on what I can guess for now, I think she's someone with financial strength and kind-hearted nature. She seems to have a good eye for people. The fact that she was able to buy that sushi with the intention of making them happy. The fact that she noticed Haruto's charms. That's how Yuno assesses her. Other than that, maybe Aya-san is popular too. I mean, Oni-chan wouldn't come up with something as classy as let's go to the aquarium, so maybe it's her suggestion. And even her name has a certain aura. Don't make me even more anxious. I didn't mean to do that. You're the one who asked me, says Yuha-chan. Well, I guess it can't be helped, says Yuha, who was thinking the same thing as Yuno. Couldn't help but ask out of anxiety. Then let's focus on something positive next. I mean, says Yuha-chan, you were invited to hang out by Oni-chan. There are plenty of chances to turn things around. Huh? Yuno, who was hoping for a delighted response, blinked rapidly as she saw says Yuha's blank expression, as if she had no idea what she was talking about. Upon seeing this expression, Yuno herself lets out a hesitant sorry, says Yuha-chan, did I forget to mention it? We're going shopping for clothes with Oni-chan next time, and I was wondering if you'd like to come too. I didn't hear anything about that. I see. I'm really sorry. I was looking forward to says Yuha-chan coming over that I forgot. Anyways, I should have told you about this first. If she had mentioned this earlier, says Yuha might have felt less uneasy. She probably wouldn't have been plagued by such big worries, but because she hadn't been told, says Yuha inadvertently revealed the extent of her feelings. So, can you keep Saturday free? Since Oni-chan's day off is Saturday, I think that's when it'll happen. Yeah. Got it, says Yuha, nodded and brought the pudding to her mouth. Knowing she's been invited by Haruto seems to have eased her anxious feelings. Compared to before, she was eating the pudding at a much faster pace now. Just so you know, I'll make sure you two can have some alone time, says Yuha-chan. Why, you don't have to worry so much. Just being able to hang out with Haruto makes me happy. So you're not happy to hang out with me? That's mean. Why, Yuno-chan? You're being mean. You know that's not what I meant. Haha, just kidding, just kidding. As soon as Suzu, who seemed to have regained her composure, Yuno immediately resumed her usual teasing. And so, they continued their lively conversation. uninterrupted, while eating their pudding for what must have been dozens of minutes. Section. That felt great. While wiping his wet hair with a towel, Haruto appeared in the living room where Yuno and Suzuha were. Wow, Oni-chan, you're not in your pajamas because Suzuha-chan is here. Even though I went through the trouble of preparing them for you. Well, it's fine to show off a bit, right? Suzuha-chan, you think so too, don't you? I would like to see Haruto Unizen in his pajamas too. I'm happy to hear that, but that's a no. Ahaha. It might be something everyone can relate to. Wanting to show our best side to those we're close to. Just because Suzuha-chan is cute, don't try to flirt with her. I just didn't want to make her uncomfortable. Besides, even if someone like me tried to flirt with her, it wouldn't work on Suzuha-chan, right? Haruto, confident in his statement, smiled and urged again. While he's doing this to facilitate conversation. For Suzuha, it's an unexpected killer move. Unable to affirm the truth, and too embarrassed to be honest, she hides her reddening face. As soon as you come out, you start troubling Suzuha-chan. Oni-chan, how mean can you be? No, I didn't mean to. I'm sorry? No. I'm the one who couldn't respond properly. If she could have responded with a joke, it wouldn't have escalated to this, but it was something Suzuha couldn't do right now. Haruto's hair was a little wet from the bath, and his hairstyle was different from usual. He looked even cooler to her than usual. In the first place, Oni-chan, you should dry your hair before coming to the living room. There's a hairdryer in the bathroom. Yuno interjected to keep the conversation flowing. She only said this because she had figured out why Suzuha was blushing. Well, how should I put it? Since it's already late, I thought it'd be better to spend the time talking and playing chess instead. You can be cheerful while you still can. You're going to get beaten in chess anyways. You think so? But I've been studying quite a bit, so I think I can put up a good fight. Thank you for that. Haruto Unizen. Not at all. Not at all. She knows he made the effort to learn the rules just to play with her. That fact alone warms her heart. Now that I can play chess, it's less likely that Suzuha-chan will be monopolized by you. That might be true. What are you two talking about? I'm the one inviting Suzuha-chan, so it's only natural that I'd monopolize her. Yuno sighed, placed her hands on her hips, and replied with a half-hearted glare. She showed such an exasperated attitude because she could see Suzuha smiling, not entirely displeased by Haruto's joke. She's so easy to read, she thought. Well, from now on, when Suzuha-chan comes over, I'll lend her to you for 2 bottles of juice. So if you need to, just let me know. You're saying this without asking, but are you okay with it, Suzuha-chan? Of course. I'm fine with it. So in that case, then I'll gladly take you up on that offer when the time comes. Sometimes Suzuha visited their home just to see Haruto. Because Yuno knew this, she didn't hesitate to make such a suggestion. She never intended to say anything that would cause trouble. She always tries to intervene such that Suzuha would be happy. Oni-chan, I want an orange and apple juice. I'll make sure to buy the 100% fruit juice kind. That's expensive, so you can go get something else. Don't worry about that, but I am worried about that. Their typical sibling banter continues. And Suzuha can't help but smile seeing how Haruto didn't mind spending a little more to make his sister happy. Oh, speaking of which, I got a message from Aya-san, who bought the sushi. She said, "You're welcome. Feel free to enjoy it." So I thought I'd pass on the message. She replied quite fast. She's incredibly kind. Isn't she? Yeah, she's really kind. So I think you and Suzuha-chan will definitely get along well with her. From Haruto's perspective, it was impossible to imagine them not getting along. Haruto Unizen, besides being kind, what kind of person is Aya-san? Well, to put it simply, she's friendly, cheerful, straightforward, and the type who is liked by everyone. Haruto, scratching his cheek, feels a bit embarrassed about giving such descriptions. Oni-chan, you sure are praising her a lot. She's just that nice. Plus, she's a first-year university student, just 2 years younger than me. So we have a lot of topics to talk about. Huh? Oni-chan, she's 2 years younger. Which means, she's 18? Yeah, but is there something surprising about that? It's a perfectly normal age gap. However, seeing Yuno react as if she just heard they were a decade apart makes Haruto wonder if he said something weird. This might come out a bit blunt, but it doesn't seem like the sushi we got was something a person her age would buy. Right, says Yuha-chan. Why yeah, I was really surprised when I saw it. Surprised? Wait a second. Let me check. With a voice trembling as if struck by a bad feeling, Haruto opens the refrigerator door and removes the lid of the sushi container. Then, he's so shocked that he shakes his shoulders up and down, and a loud "huh?" can be heard. He turned back with that expression still on his face. Well, what should I do? This sushi is definitely something premium. It's like she went further beyond what was on the menu. Hey, Oni-chan, how did you not notice when ordering? Normally, you'd realize something is off. Well, you see, we were originally supposed to choose our own menu items first. And after I paid half the money, Aya-san picked out this sushi by herself, and she was the one who settled the final bill too. Haruto is being pressed by Yuno, not just with words, but also in terms of physical proximity. And Suzuha watches this with a fond smile. Well, I'm happy to have the chance to eat this kind of sushi, but it's not okay for Oni-chan to be fooled like this. The "feel free to eat it" message was probably talking about this. So, that's why she also sent a sorry emoji. I thought it was a bit off. Seriously. Seeing such a clear expression on his face, Yuno's drive to pursue the issue fades away. Despite going through a rebellious phase, Yuno genuinely felt that she was fortunate to have her brother around. However, she found this particular issue troubling. Because of his lack of attention to crucial details, she couldn't help but worry about him. If there's one thing she wanted to change about him, it's this. But she's also starting to give up. She slumped her shoulders, then slowly turned her head to give Suzuha a weary look. Her gaze seemed to say, "Are you really, truly okay with someone like him? It's going to be tough, you know?" In response, Suzuha narrowed her eyes and nodded without hesitation as if to say it's fine. Really? Since Yuno had lived with him for so long, it was an unshakable truth for her, but Suzuha found even that part of Haruto endearing. Moreover, the fact that someone as kind, wonderful, and financially stable as Aya is interested in Haruto is proof of just how attractive he is. Having a rival is certainly inconvenient, but this was something Suzuha had been prepared for ever since she developed feelings for Haruto. She always thought he was more wonderful than any other man, and it wouldn't have been surprising if he had gotten a girlfriend at any time. I see. I see what? Nothing. Anyways, enough about me. Show Suzuha-chan how you play chess. I've set up the board already. Yu's right. Suzuha-chan, shall we play? Yes, I'm looking forward to it. Haruto is. All right, I'm going all out, so be prepared. Saying this, Haruto stretched to psych himself up and approached the table where the chessboard was set up. He then sat down in a chair, facing Suzuha. Hey, Oni-chan. Since it's a special occasion, how about making a punishment game for the loser? I'm okay with anything, so I'll leave it up to Suzuha-chan. Then, how about a best-of-3 match, and the loser has to grant the winner's request? How does that sound? Sounds good. And for the requests, let's keep them within reason and things that actually can be done, okay? Okay, got it. When it comes to competition, Haruto doesn't imagine losing. While thinking about what he might ask for if he wins, he calls out to Yuno. I'm counting on your support. I'm only cheering for Suzuha-chan, though. Wait, not for me? Yeah, not for you, Oni-chan. Haruto made a shocked face at Yuno's immediate response. And Suzuha couldn't help but be captivated by this expression as well. Well, if you manage to win even one game, I might consider cheering you on. Is that a promise? Why yeah, I get it. So don't look so happy. Yuno averted her gaze because Haruto felt so grateful that it couldn't be put into words. He couldn't help but show it on his face. Then, I'll let you go first, Haruto-san. Really? Going first is advantageous, you know? I plan to win even if I go second. Oh, interesting. Then I'll take you up on your offer. With that, Haruto's expression turned serious as he made the first move. Wait a minute. Hold on, says Yuha-chan. Can't you give me a bit more breathing room? Hee. It only just started, you know. In the living room, Haruto's panicked voice could be heard. Says Yuha's happy laughter could also be heard, indicating how happy she was to get his attention and having someone to play with. Oni-chan, your position is terrible. Didn't you say you were going to give her a good match? That's because says Yuha-chan is just too strong. As the two of them play chess, Yuno's voice can be heard happily commenting on a game while holding a stuffed sea turtle plushie. Interlude 2. That was so much fun. Rewinding a bit. This happened after Aya saw Haruto off from the entrance of her apartment. Aya hugged a penguin plushie, sat down on the edge of the sofa, and let out a voice. I'm really glad everything went well. Aya was sitting in the spot where Haruto had been sitting before he left. In that place where his warmth still lingered, she murmured while vividly recalling today's events. Haruto-kun, I wonder when you'll invite me next. Even though he said, I'll try to invite you as soon as possible, he's a busy person who only has Saturdays off every week. Even on those days off, he has to do his streams. Once he gets home, he'll probably start streaming to earn money. Because of that, it's hard to imagine being able to hang out anytime soon. It's lonely, but rather than pressing him about it, it's best to patiently wait for his invitation. But I can look forward to playing with Haruto-kun again in the future, so I have to stay positive. To her, today's date was enjoyable. She was able to call him Haruto-kun. She was able to invite him to her house, and she was able to guarantee a future date. All in all, her first date was a huge success. All right. Considering I'm getting rewarded with a date in the future, I need to work hard at my job too. Now then. After thinking positively while patting the plushie's head, Aya reached for the bag she brought for the date. She rummaged through it and took out the matching wireless earphones she secretly bought at the store. With an unconscious smile on her face, she unboxed them and took them out. Then, she quickly moved to the streaming room to do one thing. She hooked it up next to the monitor stand with a PC, like an interior decoration. With this, I feel like I can stream even better than usual. Maybe it's because they match, but she felt as if he was cheering her on from nearby. Truthfully, she wanted to purchase them openly and ask, is it okay if we match? But she hesitated. In our current relationship, it might still be seen as too much. What Aya feared most was being disliked by him. The reason she insisted on matching them was to create some peace of mind for herself. Because she heard that Rina, a reliable, beautiful, kind, and respected senpai, has somehow become close to him. She also heard that Rina is getting along well with his sister. Since their relationship has progressed further than hers, she wanted to feel like they were on equal footing. Today, she avoided bringing up Rina during the date, because she knew she'd end up feeling jealous. I hope Haruto-kun will forgive me for being so jealous, she muttered quietly. This is something she can't change, no matter how hard she tries. Touching the matching earphones, she calmed her heart. It was then, as she returned to the living room from the streaming room, Aya's steps suddenly stopped, and her eyes caught sight of something. On the table were the plates and glasses they used during today's meal. In this space, only the sound of the TV quietly played. As if struck by a thought, Aya pursed her lips tightly and blinked repeatedly, then hurried over to the table. To be precise, she approached the glass, touching it with both hands. At that moment, what flashed through her mind was the image of Haruto using this glass to take a drink. The more vividly she recalls it, the hotter her head becomes, as if it's boiling. Her reason melts away, leaving her unable to think about anything. As she brings the cup closer to her mouth, her heart beats faster. Wait, what am I doing? I can't do something like this. She was just about to touch it with her lips. Her voice trembled as she hurriedly returned the cup to its original position. Regaining her composure while breathing heavily, she started hating herself after realizing the outrageous thing she was about to do. She regretted not accepting Haruto's offer to help with the dishes before leaving if she knew she was going to end up like this. Just how much do I love Haruto-kun? Her voice quivered with a heartfelt cry. It was at this moment that she realized that she loved him so much that she couldn't control herself. Having attended an all-girls school in middle and high school, she had little contact with the opposite sex, and since this was her first love, it frightened her to see herself acting out of character. "I need to cool my head." Aya hurriedly carried the plates and cups to the sink, placing her hands under the cold water flowing from the faucet to cool her head. The moment she saw the water splashing and hitting the rim of the cup, she was overwhelmed by a sense of what a waste. "Muyu, why am I like this?" Once again, she fell into self-loathing. It was the most emotionally exhausting dishwashing she had ever experienced in her life. "I'm really exhausted." Though she managed to finish, she was utterly exhausted. Just as she was about to sink into the sofa to recover her heavy body, a notification sound came from her smartphone on the table as if it was right on cue. Exclamation mark. Aya had received a promise from Haruto that he'd contact her once he got home. Thinking it was a message from Haruto, she hurriedly checked the screen, only to see the words "Streamer Exclusive Tournament, Ebi Festival Management." Oh, feeling somewhat deflated, it was a message from the tournament management that she had been expecting. As she checked the email to reply, she suddenly gasped. Exclamation mark. Aya let out a startled cry and dropped her phone from her hand. The shock was so great because of the team members listed under her team in the message for the upcoming tournament. Epilogue. 2 weeks remained until the start of the exclusive Abex tournament for streamers, also known as the Ebi Festival. It was to be held on a Sunday. Wito post. Are they serious about this lol? Wito post. This is definitely going to cause a shitstorm lol. Wito post. I feel sorry for the members lol. Wito post. A clown has somehow slipped in there. Wito post. The organizers are definitely messing around lol. Abex players using social media, particularly Wito, were showing great excitement. Besides #EbiFestival, the trending tags also included #AxisGround and #Oni-chan. Why did this phenomenon occur? It happened because the promotional video released on Wito by the official Ebi Festival management team was unlike any of its predecessors. To be precise, it was because of the ending. It had too much impact. At first, traditional Japanese instruments like taiko drums played in the background, while the revelation of Team 1 and their respective members' YouTube profile pictures emerged. Continuing smoothly up to Team 19, the team that would close out the event was Team 20. 2 members of the pro gaming team Axis Crown, AC_INA, AC_IYA, and then, unknown username. At the moment the last member shrouded in mystery was introduced, the BGM of traditional Japanese instruments like taiko drums stopped, replaced by the ominous sound of a deep bass wind, and the screen faded to black. A few seconds later, the screen transitioned to a place resembling ruins, where a fully black-clad, physically large man slowly walked forward, created in CG. In a scene like from a movie, as the large man, wearing a hood, began to move out of frame, a gunshot rang out from behind. He immediately stopped in his tracks and turned around, revealing what was engraved on his back. For several seconds, the character, Oni, was displayed. Then, as if using an ultimate move like those seen in Abex, the large man made a motion and vanished like ashes. With a thunderous roar, lightning struck, transitioning to the text, 14 days until the streamer-exclusive Abex tournament, Ebi Festival. Thus ending the video. The hidden member with the unknown username from Team 20. By now, you probably already guessed who it was. With such a powerful promotion and the participation of such an unexpected individual, the buzz was enormous. Wito post, Oni-chan's joining? How's this going to turn out? Wito post, this tournament is going to be wild. Wito post, I'm really hyped for this Ebi Festival now lol. Wito post, well, to be honest, the organizers have great taste lol. With many such tweets like this, several Abex-related topics trended. In the midst of this whirlwind, Haruto, also known as Oni-chan, ignored the excessive notifications he'd been getting and repeatedly watched the PV, his face turning pale each time. I mean, I did say they could promote it however they want, but I never thought the organizers would do something like this. Overwhelmed by the mounting pressure, Haruto let out a weak sigh and collapsed onto his bed. End of Volume 2.